It is time for NASCAR race weekend and live commentary coverage to begin for this NASCAR race weekend. As we have for you today, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Ecosave 250 from the Charlotte Roval, the final road course race of the season across all the top three series of NASCAR, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. And we'll have all those racing coverages over the next 3 days. Today, starting with this Friday afternoon, round of 8 opener for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 4 races to go on the season for the Truck Series. We begin the second to last round, and coming into this said round, we'll take a look at those point standings on the big screen, as you'll also see them scrolling across the top of the screen throughout the course of today's action. Corey Heim comes in plus 69 points above the cut line, having one of the best, if not the very best, season in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series history. He's 1 win away from tying Greg Biffle for the all-time most wins in a single season, and he would need 2 wins in these last 4 races to break that record. As we look to watch to see if he can break history over the next couple of weeks, we also obviously have to see if he's going to be able to get his first career championship along the way. First step to doing that is to maybe get a race win today and lock himself into the next round. Obviously, if any one of these 8 drivers is to win, they will be in the championship for in November, or I should say Halloween night at Phoenix. Lane Riggs plus 22 points above the cut line. Pretty comfortable to start the round, obviously compared to anybody who is still in the playoffs that is pretty much right around the bubble, 3rd through 8th in the standings. Again, plus 22 for Lane Riggs in second. Daniel Hemrick is plus 1. Ty Majeski even to the cut line. He does hold the tiebreaker coming into the round of 8 with Tyler Ankrum. The tiebreaker at the end of the round will be the best finish in that said round. So even though he has the tiebreaker right now, that's really all going to be by the wayside, because it's going to be dependent on where he finishes for these next 3 races. Grant Edfinger is going to be minus 3 points below the cut line, still sitting winless on the season, while Raja Kurth with 1 win on the year is minus 5, and Caden Honeycutt will be the 8th seed of the round of 8 competitors. He is minus 7 points to the cut line. Terry Lewis, Frank Powers, Robert Goodrich, Nick Menzel, and many others. Welcome into the stream, everybody. Friday afternoon, Craftsman Truck Series race, an early Friday afternoon at that. This is the early start time we've had to a truck race this season, on a Friday at least. And this is not going to be the last time this season. Talladega 2 weeks from now, they'll also be racing on a Friday afternoon affair at 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you're at work, or maybe because it is now the school season around the U.S., if you are just getting out of school, maybe in school still, appreciate you tuning in still for today's live commentary coverage. We have NASCAR live commentary coverage every weekend on the channel for Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying. So we'll have our doubleheader stream tomorrow with Cup practice and qualifying at 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Xfinity race at 5 p.m. Eastern. Same distance for both today's race as well as the NASCAR Xfinity race tomorrow, 250 miles, I believe 55 laps is what we are looking at. Practice and qualifying took place in the late morning to early afternoon hours today. 11 a.m. was the practice session. Qualifying was immediately after that. 67 laps are scheduled distance today. Excuse me, not 55. I apologize for that. 55 would have been a 200-mile length, not 250. Tom Bodine is caught up with Lane Riggs in the pre-race. I'll rewind it a couple seconds so you can get that full interview. That took place during the commercial break. FS1 currently back live as of right now.
19 stage wins, that helps. Lane Riggs is doing his part, but you look at 3rd down to 8th, separated by 7 points. Let's hear from some of today's contenders, starting with Todd Bodine.
Thanks, Jamie. Here with Lane Riggs. Lane, the best qualifying run you've had on the road course. Qualified 2nd. Your best finish has been 10th at Watkins Glen. I know you want to do better than that. You got something for him today?
Yeah, I feel really good about this Fluke nicotine pouches Ford F-150. I think the truck's a little better than the driver right now, so the driver's going to have to catch up, but just so many differences from the simulator, difference from iRacing, just trying to correlate the things that I really wasn't expecting to real life. And like some of the other guys that might have run the Xfinity race here in the past, have a little bit better grasp on that, but yeah, I'm excited about today. I'm optimistic. I wouldn't say it's my favorite racetrack, but hopefully by the end of it, I'll be saying that.
Lane Riggs rolling off 2nd. Amanda?
Thank you, Todd. Your reigning champ, Ty Majeski, is racing in the round of 8 with 3 races to go until Phoenix. And Ty, we were talking a little bit off camera. How can you use that championship mentality here today at the Roval?
The biggest thing is just not beating yourself. We saw in the first round, guys have issues, mechanical issues, and take themselves out of it. And I think that's certainly the name of the game in this second round, given the 3 races that we're up against here at the Roval, Talladega, and then Martinsville. So 3 wild cards, just have to control what we can control and not beat ourselves. So decently happy with our Solar Sense Ford F-150 today. Certainly some improvement we can make on it. We think we got our little shake fixed, and we believe it's a non-issue. So excited to get going today.
Ty Majeski on a bit of a streak, looking for top 5 finishes in a row, Caitlin.
Thank you, Amanda. Well, one driver we always have to keep an eye on when it comes to the road courses is, of course, Connor Zilic. How do you think your background's going to help prepare you for today?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's always fun to get back in the truck series and get to race against these guys and get to race with Spire Motorsports. So hopefully our Delaware Life Chevrolet is fast, but we're starting 6, so we got a little bit of work to do.
Thanks for your time and good luck to you. Connor Zilic rolling off 6 for the race. Jamie?
I believe this is the start at COTA last season, but not this season, if my thinking is correct. Because I believe he was on the pole for that race. Here's the command to fire engines.
Drivers, start your engines.
It was very calm. I was expecting a little bit more pizzazz, but okay. We are going to get the engines fired, and 67 laps of racing at the Charlotte Roval will be beginning shortly here on KRC. I still got to get the chat poll up and running on the channel, so let me do that over the next minute or so. Who will win at the Charlotte Roval? Actually, let's see who will win the first truck race. Be a little bit more specific. This is the first ever Craftsman Truck Series race at the Roval. We'll go Corey Heim, Lane Riggs, Connor Zilic. Be the 3 favorites coming in. Yeah, no playoff drivers, no Cup Series drivers are able to come down into the lower series for playoff races, but truck and Xfinity drivers can still bounce back and forth amongst those series. And that is why we see Connor Zilic here today taking advantage of a road course race. Driving for Spire Motorsports in the number 7 truck that is currently in the playoffs, by the way. I want to take a look at those owner standings real quick before we jump into the starting lineup, because I don't really have a good idea of what the owners' playoff standings look like exactly for the truck series as far as how their playoff points are structured entering this round. Obviously, Corey Heim, number 1 with the 11 team. Actually, it looks like it's all the same. Oh, that's the driver standings, that's why. Owner. There we go. Thought something was up. No, it is all still the same. 17 was eliminated. Okay. So had the 17 been in this round, that is probably why they pulled Connor Zilic to run this race for Spire today to try to get that 7 truck into the championship 4. But they were eliminated in the round of 10. So the owner standings and the regular driver standings for the playoffs are all the same for the truck series and going forward. So that makes it easier to follow as us fans. Shout out to more of you watching that I haven't shouted out yet. Jerry Marty, Michael Turner, Shane Richards. Welcome to the stream. Personally, don't trust Connor Zilic in a truck. Yeah, I'm still taking Corey Heim for the win. We've seen Zilic in the truck series before, and he hasn't won a truck race yet. On road courses, 0 for 2 right now. I don't trust him to get the race win again today for that reason, so give me Corey Heim. And Heim has won the first 2 road course races so far in 2025 for the Craftsman Truck Series. Dominating fashion in both of those races. He led the most laps and won at Watkins Glen despite splitting the stages and not going for the stage wins. And then he did go for the stage wins at Lime Rock Park. He led 99 of 100 laps that day. Obviously, there were no live pit stops because of it being a standalone truck event, which made it even difficult to try to bounce Corey Heim out of that top spot. But Heim's got to be the favorite for the race win today based off of that alone. Obviously, Connor Zilic probably going to be right there with him, but Heim is the pole sitter. So starting up front, we'll see if he can stay up front. And he probably doesn't have to go for those stage points despite the fact that he is in the playoffs because he's got so many points to his credit. I think the main focus of that 11 team the rest of the year is go for that record for the most wins in a single season, which again, he is 2 away from breaking 1 to tie Greg Biffle for the most wins in a single Truck Series season all time, a record that has stood the test of time 26 years. 1999, Biffle was able to get that done. So can Corey Heim party like it's 1999 in NASCAR's backyard here today at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Roval configuration? Here's the starting lineup for today's Ecosave 250 at Charlotte. Charlotte Roval will produce Corey Heim with the race winner, trying to go 3 for 3 on the season with the road courses. Lane Riggs will be starting in second. Road number 2 will be teammate of Corey Heim's today, Brett Cruz, a starter in the Truck Series on a part-time basis this season. Grant Enfinger, playoff driver to his outside. And road 3 will be Caden Honeycutt, who comes at 8th of the 8 drivers in the playoff standings for the truck side. And Connor Zilic making his third career truck start. Gio Ruggiero, rookie, alongside Corey LaJoie, who's still running the rest of the season. And the 77 for Spire Motorsports will make up row 4. And rounding out the top 10 in row 5 will be Ty Majeski and Josh Balicki in the 41 for Nice Motorsports today. Tyler Ankrum with Bailey Curry in row 6. Andres Perez, Tanner Gray, row 7. Connor Mosack, Parker Kligerman back in the field in row 8. Remember, Kligerman does have a road course win at Mid-Ohio in that 75 truck in recent years. Matt Mills and Raja Caruth will make up row number 9. And row 10 will be Dawson Sutton with Chandler Smith. Row number 11, Ben Mayer and Ben Rhodes. Jake Garcia, Matt Kraft, and 2 more Thor Sport teammates in row 12. Chris Wright, Timmy Hill will make up row 13. Behind them in row 14, Jack Wood and Wesley Slint. Row 15, Mason Maggio, Tony Breidinger, Will Rogers, Spencer Boyd in row 16. Tyler Tomasi, Daniel Hemrick starting deep in the field in row 17. Josh Reum and Carter Fartich will line up the rear end of the field, row 18. And that will make up the full 36 truck entry list and starting order for today's race. Our stage splits today will be 20, 20, and 27. That final stage will be right on the edge of the field window, but they should be able to make it. 67 laps for our total distance, 250 miles. Wade, welcome to the stream. He's saying, give me Zilic. Steve, welcome to the stream. Expect Connor Z to run away, barring some destruction. I don't think he's going to run away with it if he does win. I mean, Corey Heim is going to be right there with him. I would love, in a perfect world, for the 11 and the 7 to just put on a show and a road course racing clinic today and battle with each other every step of the way. And I think the best chance for Connor Zilic to hold on and or get the race win today would be Corey Heim taking the stage points, putting himself back in traffic a little bit more for a restart, especially when we get into the final stage. But I just don't think Corey's going to do that. He's 69 points above the cut line. That is over a race worth of points. He's really the only driver that's damn near an automatic lock for the championship 4 on the Truck Series this season. He's still in all the playoff points. Gives him that ability to be able to go outright for the race win. Yeah, these trucks do not handle anything like the Xfinity Series cars. It's been a big learning curve for Zilic when he has ran truck races. Yeah, in the booth today, Jamie Little, Kevin Harvick, and Joey Logano. That has been the case for a lot of the playoff races for the Truck Series so far this season. And they are actually in the Charlotte booth and not in the studios, which I would hope would be the case considering this is NASCAR's NASCAR's backyard in the Charlotte area. Basically NASCAR headquarters for at least a lot of the race teams and the main studios at Fox in Charlotte as well. So hopefully they have a little bit better coverage for the very few points that we get to listen in to them for. Hopefully you all are enjoying your Friday afternoon as we get today's live commentary coverage underway. In this weekend's coverage, you can check in the community tab for start times for both tomorrow and Sunday as well. Just getting done checking pit road times right now, so Truck Series, obviously, with this being their first race at the Charlotte Roval, they never got to run the original configuration, or at least some of the iterations of that. Something newer to this racetrack for last season's Xfinity Cup races was Turn 7, adding a hairpin corner at the end of the infield section of the racetrack. That has returned for this season's Charlotte Roval race weekend. Knowing the Truck Series, that will be Calamity Corner, more than likely, especially if we get deeper into the race.
Timmy Hill, the feel-good story. Last time he was at the truck, finished 8th. Daniel Hemrick in the playoffs. He will drop to the very rare he pretty much is there, had an issue earlier. So that is your Ecosave 250 starting lineup. Well, we will have everything covered for you with 3 pit reporters today. Caitlin Mincy, Amanda Busick, Todd Bodine. Hello, Amanda. Good afternoon.
Hey, Jamie, Tyler Ingram told me that he had a top 10 truck today, but is concerned with how tight and technical it is here at the Roval. Even as a playoff driver, he told me that he would consider short pitting the stages as well. It's Tyler's first time here. I asked him what he thought of the place. He said, well, it's way more fun when I'm out there by myself. Caitlin?
Well, Amanda, keep an eye on Raja Caruth. Kevin, you mentioned it. Not a great qualifying effort out of them, but he did tell me he has a lot of confidence going into this race, given the fact that he has prior experience here in the Xfinity Series from 2023. But when I asked him about this first round of the playoffs, he called it the haunted house of the postseason, given the challenges of the next 3 tracks that starts right here at the Roval. Todd?
Thanks, Caitlin. Daniel Hemrick's crew chief, Kevin Bellacourt, rolled the dice at Watkins Glen with some track position strategy, and it worked. They finished second. Today, they're starting in the back of the pack. He told me earlier he's going to roll that dice again. He figures he's got a way to get this track position, and he's going to try it again today. Jamie?
Thank you, Todd. I'm sure all 3 of you will have plenty to talk about today, as you see.
Pace car heads to pit road and the restart zone in the chicane, or at least out of the front stretch chicane, which wasn't always the case, I should say, with the original Charlotte layout of the Roval, but last year also mainstay for this season, along with Turn 7. Green flags in the air. We've already got a truck around and into the wall, into the first turn. Corey Heim, Lane Riggs have gotten together, and I believe that was contact from Brent Cruz, who started third, got into the back of Lane Riggs into the braking zone into the first turn. Riggs gets spun into Heim. We are still under green flag conditions. Cruz leads, but the 11 and the 34 are up against the fence early. Corey Heim has driven away, but he's got a lot of damage to the right front fender of his race truck. Definite tire rub. He's going to have to come to pit road this time by, and he's also got some damage along the left side door as well. I would assume Lane Riggs had driven away also. Surprised there was no caution there initially. still under green. Big playoff implications for Lane Riggs. I wouldn't say that necessarily for Corey Heim, but a chance at trying to get the record for the most wins in a single season hanging in the balance. It was not Brett Cruz who hit the 34 of Lane Riggs. They've shown multiple replays on the bottom right-hand corner of FS1's screen. It was actually Grant Enfinger who started on the outside of row 2, who had made contact with the left rear of Riggs' race truck. So quite a bit of damage for Enfinger on his left front. It looked like it bashed the nose in just a bit. So the top 5 at the end of the opening lap has Brett Cruz in the lead, Caden Honeycutt in second, Gio Ruggiero third, Ty Majeski fourth, Connor Zilich in fifth, and Heim is on pit road.
Chaos by getting the pole today.
Lane Riggs in the pits as well.
Fixing his damage.
This is obviously going to hurt their chances for stage points right off the bat here. A lot of it looks cosmetic on these trucks. I'll say that. I mean, these bodies they're still bodies. You got to push them back and all that. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and you're going to use your extra set of tires right here, so it kind of eliminates your strategies. I guess you could put the other ones back on if they don't have any damage.
Oh, big crash. Ben Rhodes had the wrong ThorSport truck, has crashed in the infield section of the racetrack very hard. He's trying to drive away. A ton of left side damage for the 99. And that is going to cause a caution for sure, because they're going to have to re-put those tire barriers back into place. That was right around turn 7, which I thought was going to be Calamity Corner today, and sure enough, it was there. And Ben Rhodes' day is definitely going to come to an end.
Way through that section, and that's exactly where it is right here.
Yeah, looks like he kind of gets wide, a little bit too much speed.
So overdrove it.
I said, you get off into the grass, there's just things to hit. And those tire barriers, you see them go flying like that and just destroys this truck. What a wild start of the race. I kind of expected some spins here and there, but I didn't really expect it till we got to turn 7.
Caution is out, guys, for the first time. Let's listen to the radio.
Yeah, a lot of times, Joe, you know this, that turn 5 corner over there is super slippery. If you miss the entrance by a foot, it never turns and the back just comes out from underneath you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky corner. I mean, every corner here is really tricky, and there's not a bunch of grip. And yeah, I think some of this is, hey, first time the truckers have been here. You know, and
it's a practice. It's a lot different.
Right.
Go up with the green flag.
And sometimes you're used to clean air from being in practice, and now you got dirty air in your truck, and you're going to the break points that were good for you in practice or qualifying, and then you get to the race where you don't have the downforce. The track may not be as cleaned up yet because it's the first run of the race. And wow, what a wild start. I mean, just for the playoff guys, think about what these guys are going through right now with Jeske, Honeycutt. They see this huge opportunity right now.
That's about how far we got. 3 trucks. Big damage at the start of this one. Ben Rhodes in the wall. Caution is out here at Charlotte.
There's a silver lining with this early caution on lap 3 after the Ben Rhodes incident. It is that Corey Heim and Lane Riggs, who had to come down to pit road for an unscheduled pit stop, they are still on the lead lap, as they were able to make quick repairs, get fresh tires back on the race trucks off and away, so they can rejoin the back portion of the pack, maintain their lead lap, and then continue under caution to make more damage repairs if needed. Which I'm sure, considering they're already at the back, that they'll end up taking advantage of that. And we'll see them on pit road a couple more times before they drop the green flag yet again. So an early caution here today for Ben Rhodes. Lap 3 has crashed. It looked like it was actually in turn 6, right before the hairpin in turn 7. Infield section of the racetrack. Loss of rear grip. Slides wide into the wall. Couldn't save it. Kind of whiplashed the left rear into the left front. Tore apart the entire front of his race truck, and they had to reset the tire wall or tire barrier in that section of the racetrack. So that is why we had a caution, despite the fact that Rhodes was able to drive away from the incident. I was wondering if that was going to be the case in turn 1 after the contact from Grant Enfinger, who started 4th into the back bumper of the inside front row truck of Lane Riggs, who then collected the pole sitter Corey Heim. They went for a spin in the turn 1 wall. Enfinger has not been to pit road yet with the damage to his number 9. See here. At least I didn't think he was on pit road. He must have been because he's 33rd. Or maybe he's on pit road now that we're under caution. That's very well possible also. But I didn't see him on pit road. At least Fox's cameras didn't catch it when Corey Heim and Lane Riggs were down there at the end of the opening lap. Drivers are going to overdrive this track. A lot of bent metal is going to happen. Yeah, a lot of bent metal has already happened. We're only on lap 3. Wild start. Far from tame. Rumor Kyle Busch is going full-time trucks in 2027. I haven't heard anything about that yet. I don't know that that's legitimate or not.
Takes to clear that
I'd be
tire
shocked.
for Lane Riggs. Speaking of baseball, tomorrow the ALDS begins with 2 huge game ones. First at 3:30 Eastern on Fox, Aaron Judge and the Yankees, they'll battle Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the Blue Jays. Then at 8 on FS1, the Tigers take on this year's
Hell yeah. My Tigers
and the Mariners. Game 1.
knocking down Cleveland yesterday.
Fox and FS1. A lot of baseball coming up, a lot of football. We have a lot more racing to go, guys. We're under caution on lap number 2. Let's get an update, Todd.
Yeah, the 34 Lane Riggs. Good news, it's just cosmetic. They were in here taping up the left front corner, trying to get the fender pushed out, but it did not hit the front tires. They feel like the toe was fine, so hopefully his truck will be just as fast as it was in practice.
Well, Todd Grant Enfinger, one of the drivers involved in those early incidents, came on the radio, sounded a bit dejected, saying, I guess I just screwed up. I will need to apologize to those guys. They also came down pit road for repairs. You can see the left side, a significant amount of Barabon on there. Also had to make clearance for those tires. Amanda.
And Kayla, there's a significant amount of bear bond and black tape all over the 11 of Corey Heim as well. Otherwise, Corey feels that the truck is operating pretty good. He said there was a little chatter, but the team, they were debated for a long time if they should even lift the hood of this truck. Was afraid they would not be able to get it back down. Corey Heim back on track. He took 2 tires on his first lap down. Now seeing if they can settle into this race.
Unbelievable turn of events here at the start of this race. Third race in the playoffs with a lap 1 incident. Remember Bristol, New Hampshire, Greece, and now here at the Roval.
The only difference is this one didn't cause a caution on the opening lap like the other 2. Our caution came out on lap 3 for a separate incident. Ben Rhodes hitting the wall. It's crazy if you think about it, though, because it's the veterans of the Truck Series making these early lap mistakes on a new road course or a new NASCAR racetrack for this series in particular. It's Grant Enfinger on lap 1, who's been a long-time Truck Series veteran. He's got over 10 career wins. Obviously a perennial championship contender. And then 2-time champion Ben Rhodes is the one who ends up bringing out the caution with an overdrive of turn 6. And I'm sure it's far from the last sets of overdrives that we will see in today's race. Again, Brent Cruz is our race leader. Caden Honeycutt in second. Giovanni Ruggiero in third. Ty Majeski fourth. And Connor Zilich rounds out the top 5. 6 is Tyler Ankrum. Corey LaJoy 7. Josh Balicki 8. Tanner Gray 9th. And Parker Kligerman up to 10th. Andres Perez in 11th. Connor Mosak is 12th. So those are the front runners at the top dozen spots under caution as cleanup continues at the Charlotte Roval. Had a lead change on lap 1 with the pole sitter Corey Heim going around. His teammate Brent Cruz was able to get to the lead from third. He's led the first 3 laps of the race. Now 4 actually, as we're on lap 5 under the yellow. So that's one thing that these teams have not been able to do is fire out of the restart zone yet, like a Ty Majeski. So he wasn't sure exactly how much speed he was going to end up carrying into turn 1, and therefore probably overcooked it. And we'll have to learn for that on the upcoming restarts, and hopefully we don't see any more of the same mistakes going forward. Only watching Keegan don't turn the tube on anymore. I appreciate you tuning in here every weekend, Robert. You're a mainstay of the channel as far as the viewers go. Allowing me to be able to do this on a Friday afternoon, for instance. Sit here and watch some NASCAR with you guys. Yeah, I'm excited about my Tigers. You guys are going to be seeing me wear a lot of Detroit Tigers merch over the month of October, depending on how far they're able to push in their playoffs for 2025. I'll definitely be wearing one tomorrow. Be all decked out in Detroit Tigers gear. I mean, you see me wear the hat from time to time, but not the jersey as much with these live commentary streams on the weekend. But, yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of Detroit Tigers stuff. Game 1 tomorrow, the ALDRS, and I'm pumped.
Here shortly, but while we're under yellow, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick joining me here in the booth. Let's take a look at our Craftsman track description.
Yeah, this is a very unique racetrack, 2.28 miles long, 17 turns, 11 left-hand turns, 6 right-hand turns, and the elevation will sneak up on you. It says 35 feet of elevation change, which, yeah, maybe.
There's a lot of passing zones here as well. You know, we see turn 1, definitely a passing zone, a little bit of risk there making that pass. The corner I like to pass the most in is turn 7. That's going to be the biggest opportunity for all those trucks, a big braking opportunity. But when you see 3, 4, 5, 6, those corners all lead up to 7. That one is key to make sure that you get all those corners good so you can have the opportunity to pass. And then you have the chicanes. The one at the back stretch, 10, 11, 12, and then the front stretch, 56 and 17. High risk passing zones. You can outbrake somebody into it, but you got to have a little give and take. And if the truck that you're trying to pass doesn't give you a little bit of space, it gets ugly really fast, and you may blow the chicane, which means you'll have to make a stop and go and lose even more
And
spots.
somebody's going to hit a curb really hard if you're going there side by side. Either one side or the other. If you don't hit the first one, you're going to hit the second one.
And you're going to hit the other truck next. That's right. Somebody's got to give. And then so late in the race, those passing zones are really challenging.
Work ongoing for Corey Heim. Amanda?
Yeah, what you just looked at was Corey Hunt's 4th trip to pit road early here in the race. They had to come back down to fix the spoiler race. I also saw the baseball back out, trying to get some of that still body out from underneath or rubbing against that back left rear tire, guys.
I think it looks pretty good to go. He's gonna be fun to watch go through the field.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's
He's not out of it.
Obviously qualifying. He's got his work cut out for him. He's got to try to keep it from getting in worse damage, right? Being where you're starting, it's definitely going to be in a sketchy place.
Yeah, I think as fast as his truck was, I mean, it looks fairly decent from the repairs, and it doesn't sound like he feels like there's anything wrong with the front end or suspension. So it'll be a show now.
Well, it sounds like all 3 of those trucks that had issues there in that turn 1 incident are good. They're all back out. They're all restarting in the rear.
And we've seen Chase Elliott hood deep in those tire barriers before and wind up in victory lane. So it can be done.
Don't count them out. And meanwhile,
We saw a spin and win in the playoff opener for the Truck Series at Bristol from Lane Riggs on the opening lap. Can we see a wreck and win for Corey Heim on lap 1 of the opening race of the round of 8 to punch his ticket to the championship 4? Green flag is going to be in the air. Brett Cruz on the outside of row 1. His teammate Joe Ruggiero underneath him. Pretty steady restart for the front runners at the beginning of the pack. 3 wide around turn 1 in the back half of the top 10 as Parker Kligman trying to race his way forward. Gained several spots in the opening couple laps of the race and looking for more. Cruz already out ahead by several truck lengths over the rookie Ruggiero, and in third is Caden Honeycutt, who came in as the 8th seed. Only 3 playoff drivers are currently inside the top 10, which is where the stage points are awarded 1 point per position in those top 10 spots. He's got 2 more to go for the stage win if possible. He's all over the back of the second place truck, giving a little bump to the back of the 17, in fact, as they get through turn 7. Honeycutt caught Ruggiero, and it looked like Majeski almost caught Caden Honeycutt as well. Only to be passed by Connor Zilich up onto the oval was Majeski for 4th. Zilich is clear into the bus stop now on the back straightaway. 41 of Josh Bilicki racing his way around playoff driver Tyler Ankrum for 6th. Great start for Josh Bilicki. Great road course racer. He's had several top 10s in the Xfinity Series. We don't see him much in the Truck Series, but here he is this weekend at the Roval and making the most out of it. Haven't seen a win for Nice Motorsports in the Truck Series so far this season, so it'd be incredible if Bilicki could get them their first in a part-time effort. Especially with Corey Heim and Lane Riggs having problems off the start. Speaking of problems, we got another truck around. Out of the front stretch chicane, the 56 of Timmy Hill. He'll get it refired as soon as the rest of the field is going to race around him. It's exactly what's going to happen. So as Timmy Hill doesn't really look to have too many scratches on his race truck. Looked like he ended up getting hooked in the right rear by Dawson Sutton. Hard to tell if the 56 came down on Sutton or if Sutton just kind of charged into the corner late. I feel like we needed a longer length of a replay before the contact happened for me to justify exactly whose fault it was, but contact was clearly made. Brent Cruz pulling away with it right now. He's already out to a 2.4 second lead over Gio Ruggiero. It does seem like Ruggiero's backing up some of those trucks behind him of Honeycutt, Zillage, Majeski. Because not only is he not pulling away from them, but he's actually stacking them up a bit. Corey Heim's already up to 20th place after restarting up in the tail end of the lead lap. So he's made some great effort already, picking up about 14 positions. Gets another one on Chandler Smith, who seemingly lets him by. Up out of oval turn 4 into the front stretch chicane. Heim is just going to outbrake and really pull Chandler Smith by quite a few truck lengths. 13 positions gained already since the restart for Corey Heim. Most for any other driver. Lane Riggs is only up 6 spots, who was right there back with Corey Heim on the restart. And then Corey LaJoie up 6 positions as well. Grant Enfinger only up 3 positions after running into the back of the 34 and the 11 on that opening lap. Had to pit for damage under the caution. Cruz over a 3-second lead. Great start for this one team. Great qualifying effort earlier to start third for Brent Cruz, and he's led every lap of the race so far. Kind of a dream situation for him. Raja Karuth has just entered the top 10, so now we have half of the remaining 8 playoff drivers in position to try to get some stage points here in about another 11 laps when stage 1 comes to an end. Get Brent Cruz for Marca. That same Brent Cruz. We've seen him in several truck starts in this number 1 for Tricon Garage this season. Maybe the road courses he's taken to pretty quickly. North Carolina native Brent Cruz as well. So they're showing on a graphic on FS1. So home racetrack for him in the truck series between him and here in North Wilkesboro. Halfway through stage 1, by the way, lap 10 of 20. Honeycutt's starting to lose time to Ruggiero. And now it's Honeycutt who's kind of backing up the first few trucks and the running order behind him. The gap is over a second between the second and third place trucks. Cruz by far is the quickest on the racetrack right now. 87.352 in that clean air for Brent Cruz. The second place truck of Gio Ruggiero ran 88.0. Now an 87.5 to an 88.1, about 0.6 of a second quicker a lap is Cruz over his teammate. And the lap times Corey Heim is running, he ran an 88.1 that last lap, which is similar to the second place truck, but he's in a lot of traffic. Just past Will Rogers for 18th, just got by Matt Mills now for 17th, and battling for 16th with Matt Crafton in the moment also. He might get into the top 10 by the end of this first stage. I said not to count him out of it. And here he is so far proving me right. Joey Logano kind of alluded to it on the broadcast when we were listening into FS1 during the caution itself, that the biggest issue for him is going to not get more damage on that race truck in the traffic that he's in, because they were able to bump out whatever damage he had before. But now it's going to be a little bit harder for him to keep it clean because that much more damage is probably going to do him in. He was already having issues with tire rubs. It probably won't take much of a fender bang to cause another one. Any ideas of where tire fall off the blank slate? So if my raw feed was available, which it is now, yes, I'll be able to figure that out. Fastest lap of the race for Cruz was an 86.7 on lap 7, quite deep into the run. Last lap was an 87.5. So about 0.8 of a second to fall off for the leader for about the last 4 or 5 laps. Lap 7 would have been the first full green flag lap that we had post restart. So realistically, we ended up having 3 laps of caution. Lap 11, we only have had 8 green flag laps so far. I'm curious to see if we have more of a drastic fall off between now and when the green flag pit stops happen before the end of this first stage. Good chance the playoff drivers will stay out and try to get some points. Especially for Honeycutt, I could see him staying out and getting the stage win. Cruz and Ruggiero do not need the points as they are not running for the championship at this point. Ruggiero did not make the playoffs, and for Cruz, not even running the full season. With 2 laps to go in the stage when the race leader gets to the start-finish line. So we may see green flag pit stops open up with about 3 or 4 to go in the stage. A lot of them will probably come down a little earlier to that 4 to go mark. Connor Zilich, outbraking Caden Honeycutt, finally gets by him for the 3rd spot in turn 7. Same spot on the track where he was able to get by and pass Kai Majeski for 4th at the time. Honeycutt staying in the draft of Zilich, trying to keep up with him. And maybe the best thing for Honeycutt, follow the young kid who is dominating the road course scene in the Xfinity Series. See if you can learn something from him for the couple laps that you are next to him before he can pull away from you. And it's kind of hard to tell exactly what line he's running. Learn the most you can with the laps allotted to you. 5 seconds ahead. Brent Cruz is looking like SVG out here. Who would have thought? Great start for Brent Cruz. Really, Tricon Garage as a whole, when you consider the fact that Corey Heim is on the pole. Cruz qualified 3rd. Ruggiero was up in those top 3 rows in qualifying. Now you got Cruz, Ruggiero 1-2. Heim still looks quick coming from middle of the pack after an opening lap spin. And he's at 16th. Again, very fortunate for Corey Heim that the caution came out on lap 3, because had it not, he wasn't going to be able to try to get on the attack until stage 2, which would have been over 20 laps into the race. So he's already up 18 spots, and we still have 8 laps to go in this opening stage yet. I think he's in a pretty good spot. It definitely doesn't look like the truck handling-wise has been damaged much. Zilich only about 1/10 of a second quicker than Cruz that last lap. So Cruz is definitely holding his own. Zilich is still about a second off of Ruggiero for second. I'm sure he'll get by him. I don't think he's going to run down Cruz, though, before the end of the stage. I'd be shocked if the 7 team stays out to get the stage points, considering they are not in the Owners' Championship running anymore. 7 team was bounced from the playoffs in the round of 10 for the Owners' standings, after being qualified for the Owners' standings with wins from Carson Hocevar, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch on the season. Dean Tate, welcome into the stream. That sucks to hear, Dean, but appreciate you tuning in, though. Positive vibes only on this channel. Or at least I try to keep it that way. As much as I can with these NASCAR live commentary streams. Things can get frustrating in the NASCAR world at times even, but do my best to put that off to the side. Just try to enjoy the moment and enjoy what we have in front of us to whatever extent I can, and feed that enjoyment onto you guys with these live commentary streams every weekend. Just coming back from a full screen commercial break on FS1. 6 laps to go this time by for Cruz. 5.8 seconds ahead of Ruggiero in second. Connor Zilic 6.3 seconds back in third. 7.4 seconds to Caden Honeycutt in fourth. Ty Majeski 8.5 seconds off the lead, rounding out the top 5 in fifth.
Quite a bit of how they want to play, but all those trucks you see are all right in front of them. All those points, right? You get some of those trucks, you get into the top 10, you can get a point or two.
Yeah, I mean, right there, it looks like he can get somewhere right around the 8th, 9th, 10th, I would assume.
Daniel Emmerich, who started in the rear.
Oh, big contact.
The mechanical failure this morning and Craftsman didn't qualify. He's up to 10.
Even when you have a fast truck here, it's just extremely difficult to set those passes up in the right sections to put yourself in a position to make a pass where it's available.
Well, that's where it's doing it now. It's kind of interesting watching him go into the final chicane there. He left a big gap. I think you saw all these trucks and thought there's a chance there could be a wreck. He's trying to play it safe and pass him at the right time. Right thing it looks like, I mean, these trucks don't have a whole bunch of horsepower. They get off the corner just kind of bogging a little bit. Here's an opportunity.
Oh, taking a look. Parker Kligerman was one of those guys up ahead of Corey Heim. He was running 6th, up 10 spots, guys. When we were in break, he radioed that something broke. So he is going backwards, already back in 24th. Hate to see that. He was somebody that I thought was a lot of potential. In fact, our own.
He was up in the top 10 earlier.
Well, he's had some good runs here in the past. Remember the Xfinity race here one year? He about had it won when there was a controversial caution there towards the end. So
that's his luck.
So he's definitely has speed here. But it sounds like he's having some issues.
Parker has a very busy weekend as he'll be in the booth for the CW for the Xfinity Series race tomorrow. And then he's on pit road on Sunday for the series.
It looks like a shock or something is broken in the back of that truck.
Oh, Chandler Smith.
Oh, look at that. Oh, man.
That was close.
I was more worried about the curb. That's a big curb that he climbed over. Well, I think everything that we're seeing so far, see what happened right here. I just lost it.
Yeah, you get in there hot. You start to
Wheel
get too much rear brake. Exactly. You start wheel hopping. You miss a downshift, maybe that last downshift. And spin you right around.
I think what we've seen so far, we probably should have expected, knowing the difficulty level of this racetrack with the truck spinning out. I don't know about the turn 1 thing, but that doesn't surprise me either. As easy it is to lock up the tires and make a mistake into turn 1. But I think all these spin outs and all the things happening here that we've seen so far probably need to be expected because of the difficulty of this course.
So 4 laps to go here in stage 1. We talked about the differing agendas, different options, flipping the stage versus running to the end for that track position and hanging on to it. What do you guys think? Lane Riggs, Corey Heim, what do you think their plan will be?
I think Corey Heim's truck is still fast enough to win the race, and I think you gotta still plan to win the race. And I think that you see the left side of Lane Riggs' truck, the splitter way high right there, but Corey Heim taking another position going into turn 1 right there. So he's going to be in a position, like we talked about, to probably get to that season 12th, 10th place spot right there. So it's really not about 1 point for Corey Heim. I still think he needs to be hitting in position to try to position himself to win the race. Short pitting.
I think he's got a huge point lead. If you're Corey Heim, you got 69-point lead as you come in here. I'm thinking you maybe probably pit here, flip the stage, set yourself up as the leader, go win the next stage.
Hearing a broken sway bar for the 34 and Lane Riggs.
Oh.
Riggs is up to 18th after restarting in the back. Some more issues to that truck than we had intended.
You see it roll over right there. You see how high the splitter is off the ground. The sway bar is definitely broke. And we saw that happen. Earlier in practice.
On pit road already as well, guys. We were just talking about it. Flipping the stage. Connor Zilic, one of them. Caitlin.
And the team electing to make the call to have him pit now. Listening to the feedback on the radio, Connor really hasn't said a whole lot. He's just said it's really good so far. And I talked to Brian Patty earlier about what it's like working with this young driver. He said he is the next Jimmy Johnson. He is the real deal. Both driver and crew chief, we're very much looking forward to working together for the course of this race.
Connor Zillage comes in from fifth.
And there you have it.
Lot of
Corey.
trucks on pit road. There's Corey Heim.
Corey Heim on pit road, Grant Infinger on pit road.
Amanda.
Yeah, you guys wanted to know the question of where they were going to position Corey Hunt, and you're exactly right. To win, this was their strategy ahead of this. They wanted to shortcut this stage to get track position for that restart. And to have Corey back out front, it has been a battle for this first stage. You see those tires go on this Corey will get ready to battle for stage 2.
Okay, so that was the second stop for Corey Heim. Second set of tires used up. That means he only has one set of stickers left. 42 had issues coming down pit road. Matt Mills, he was stopped, had to back up to get into his box.
Yeah, and he's got a bunch of damage on the left front of his truck. Back to that 11 truck. He didn't have a very good pit stop either.
So what happened here? The little.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
And that's with his teammate. Big damage there.
Miscommunication.
There's Brent Cruz.
Brent Cruz from the lead in the pits. That will surrender the race lead to Caden Honeycutt. First on-track pass that we've seen since lap 1, where Cruz was able to get by the spinning Corey Heim and Lane Riggs. So first laps of the day led by somebody other than Brent Cruz. And the distance between Honeycutt and Majeski is about 0.6 of a second with one another. So we are going to have a bit of a battle going on here for this Stage 1 win. Each of the top 5 spots are all playoff drivers as well, who stayed out trying to get some points, especially with problems early to that of Corey Heim, Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger, 3 playoff drivers, all with opening lap damage. The other 5 who didn't have the damage are trying to capitalize on that and take it away from others' misfortunes. Majeski now a half a second back to Honeycutt. Charges hard, gains a little bit of time in the braking zone of the backstretch chicane. Now through oval 3 and 4. Looks to be about a 7 or 8 truck length distance between the two. Majeski was able to gain on the 52 in braking, but on exit, it was definitely the 52 getting back to the gas sooner. Same might be said on the front stretch chicane now as Majeski closes through the braking zone. A little bit loose on his bounce off the first curb on the right-hand side of the front stretch chicane. Final lap now for Honeycutt as he rolls out of turn 1 with the lead. On fresher tires, Brent Cruz and Connor Zillage have made their way past Raja Karuth, so Karuth has dropped to 7th. See if he can hold on there as he loses a couple of points on this final lap. Point per position, he's got to hold on for all it's worth. I don't think Cruz or Zillage are going to pick up any more spots either because they're over 6 seconds off of Hemrick for 4th. Honeycutt has extended his lead by just over a second on Majeski as he's getting through the infield portion of the racetrack much better than the 98. We'll get back up onto ovals 1 and 2 out of the infield section of the racetrack and just a few more corners away from Caden Honeycutt, who is filling in for the injured Stuart Friesen for the rest of the season as he is on his quest to go for a championship run, not only for himself in the driver's standings, but to also try to bring this 52 truck into the owner's championship picture as well. So stage 1 in the books. Caden Honeycutt will win it by just over a second over Ty Majeski. Majeski ends up second in the stage. Tyler Ankrum third. Daniel Hemrick fourth. Brent Cruz in fifth. Connor Zillage sixth. Raja Karuth in seventh. Corey LaJoy eighth. Gio Ruggiero ninth. And Lane Riggs rounds out the top 10. 1 point per position there. 10 points for Caden Honeycutt. Much needed as he came in as the 8th seed, 7 points below the cut line. Maybe not anymore. All these drivers who stayed out to get the stage points will have to pit during the stage break, while those who pitted before pit road closed towards the end of stage 1 during green flag conditions will cycle to the lead. So we will more than likely end up seeing Brent Cruz and Connor Zillage on the front row. Ruggiero pitted. I know Josh Balicki pitted. I'm not sure about anybody else outside of Corey Heim, who was back in 18th. But he might be the 5th or 6th truck of those that had already made their stop. So that will cycle Heim back into the top 10. Assuming that all the drivers who stayed out will pit, which, again, I'd be shocked if that isn't the case. They're definitely not going to be able to make it towards the end of stage 1. The only other thing I can think of, you could make this race on one pit stop. Right around halfway, especially with the caution laps at both the stage ends and the 3 caution laps we had very early in the going. The yellow on the left-hand side of the screen for the leaderboard on FS1 indicates whether they're in the playoffs or not. And then all the non-yellow are the non-playoff drivers. I believe it was in red for the first round. I don't know why they changed the color on that to yellow for the second round, but it's not red anymore. It was red for the first 3 races of the playoffs. Drivers pitting will have a few tenths of advantage towards the end of the stage. For those that pitted under green, yes. As far as the drivers who are going to be pitting under caution now versus those that pitted under green, I don't think 3 to 4 laps is going to make too much of a difference. It might on the initial restart, where we'll see drivers who are just now on fresh tires merging with the drivers who are at the tail end of those that are on 4-lap older tires. But after a few laps, those tires are going to even out when they're that close in laps to one another. Yeah, a few tenths, definitely, but that will probably be at the most. That's not going to make too much of a difference when everybody's just bunched in a giant pack, especially on a road course for a restart, because there's not going to be a lot of room to really put those tires to use, if you will. So end of stage 1, we'll take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC as our live commentary coverage continues of the Craftsman Truck Series Ecosave 250 at the Charlotte Roval. 29 votes have so far been casted for who you think will win the first ever truck race at the Charlotte Roval. 48% of those 29 votes currently taking Connor Zilich for the win. 21% have Corey Heim. 21% have somebody other than Riggs, Zilich, or Heim. And Lynn Riggs at 10%. Although Riggs having a broken sway bar, some of that probably caused from the damage on lap 1 after contact with Enfinger and Heim. Going to be tough to overcome for Riggs to try to get the win, but Zilich, very much in it. Clean race truck as well. Heim, a little bit of damage, but still very much in it as well. Joey Logano karting in his backyard. Wish I could do that. It'd be fun. There's some moments where I miss my karting days. This is a good consolation prize, though. When I'm not, racing on the weekend anymore, it's cool to watch some NASCAR with a bunch of other NASCAR fans every weekend. Scratches that racing itch just a bit. Pit road should be open this time by for the drivers who stayed out of the pits to get the stage points to hit pit road. And with the calamity on the initial start, will we see any more of that on the ensuing restarts, especially now with the playoff drivers who will be in the middle of the pack? Honeycutt will lead the field onto pit road.
Here we go.
All right, here they come. Caden Honeycutt Had 4 laps. Pulls into his pit box. Todd.
Yeah, 52 Caden Honeycutt gets his first stage win of the year. While other teams were flipping the stage, crew chief Jimmy Villanova elected to stay out, get the stage win, and the 10 points that go along with it. He needs those points in his playoffs because it's tight right now. Caitlin?
Well, Todd, Rajak 3 started 18th with 7th in that first stage. He did take a flat spot at that left front tire. His crew chief said, take a deep breath, get reset. We'll go after it in the next stage. Amanda?
The time of Jackie coming in second isn't really reflected upon him. It's dealing with. He told his team everything is wrong on this front. They made tire pressure adjustments ahead of the second stage.
He's had his hands full, Amanda.
Caden Honeycutt wins the race off of pit road. Daniel Hemrick up 2 spots, down 2 for Ankrum, down 1 for Majeski. Dustin Sutton up a couple spots. Jack Wood, up 3. Brett Cruz will be the leader on the restart, and Connor Zilic will be in second. As expected, they were the first of the drivers who had hit pit road. Cruz has led the most laps so far today from the 3rd starting spot. 17 laps led and counting now under the caution. And can Connor Zilic put a fight up with Brett Cruz for the lead? And if he does, can he pull away from the guy who was pulling away from everybody else in stage 1 when Zilic was still back in traffic? For length, with both today's truck race and tomorrow's Xfinity race being the same length, this is actually going to lead into being one of the longer truck races of the season. Only about a third of the way home, 43 minutes in. I can't wait for tomorrow night. My Tigers, 8 o'clock, game 1 of the ALDS. And it's after NASCAR. You know what better way than to do all the streaming tomorrow on the channel for the prime time to come around, and I still get to watch my baseball. JoJo, welcome into the stream. Appreciate everybody tuning in on this early Friday afternoon Craftsman Truck Series live commentary coverage. Whether you're just tuning in for the first time, if you're getting off of work, maybe tuning in from work. If you missed any of the race so far, Brett Cruz on lap 1, able to take the lead away from Corey Heim and Lane Riggs, who were on the front row. Heim on the pole. Will sustain some damage after contact from the 4th place starting truck of Grant Enfinger into that first turn at the Charlotte Roval. 34 the 11 get up against the outside wall. They had to come down for repairs on pit road under green flag conditions after the whole field was able to race by them. They got bailed out with a quick lap 3 caution from Ben Rhodes in turn 6 after crashing and overdriving the corner there. Rhodes is out of the race. Kept Riggs and Heim on the lead lap. They were able to make more repairs. Riggs finished 10th at the end of stage 1. Corey Heim pitted before the end of the stage to try to get back up with the now leaders of this race, Cruz and Zilic and everybody else who ended up in front of Heim when everybody came to pit road of those drivers before pit road closed in stage 1 trying to flip the stage. So that's why they're up in the front of the pack. And a lot of the playoff drivers that weren't involved in the opening lap deal are all now going to be in the middle of the pack. Honeycutt, who won the race off of pit road, is 15th. So the top 14 trucks were on pit road during that caution. Yeah, even if Zilic gets by Cruz here, I'm curious to see if Cruz is going to be able to keep up with him. In traffic, Zilic was a little bit quicker than Cruz on the lap time sheet when I was looking at it, but it wasn't by much, about 1/10 of a second a lap. But is that going to be different with Cruz and maybe some dirty air behind the 7? And then Zilic with the clean air not passing trucks. That could be different. Not only on the handling for Cruz, but maybe even more stability for Zilic. So Riggs, after finishing 10th in stage 1, seems like he's got a broken sway bar. That truck is bottoming out quite a bit. Doing what they can to keep this 34 in the race. So they're not in a points hole going into the last 2 races of the round of 8, which would be Talladega in 2 weeks, and then Martinsville Speedway as well. One more off week for the trucks, which would be next weekend when Cup and Xfinity heads to Las Vegas out west. So next race for the Truck Series season will be Talladega, 3rd to last race of the year. How many races left for Cup? They've got 4 races after this weekend. 5 heading into the weekend. 5 for Xfinity and Trucks after today. Only 3 left. All right, Cruz on the outside of row 1 for the restart. Restart zone in the back half of the chicane. Green flag back in the air. Connor Zilic not able to keep up with Brett Cruz. Cruz is clear at the start-finish line. And the 77 of Corey LaJoie going for 3rd place on Giro Ruggiero into the first turn. Still side by side through turn 2 and 3 is that battle for 3rd. LaJoie now wins that battle. So 16 laps to go in stage 2 with where we stand right now. Lap 25 of 67 in the race. Honeycutt, Hemrick, Caruth, Majeski, Ankrum, all 13th through 17th. Jake Garcia goes around on the racetrack inside the top 10. He was running in 9th, right behind Corey Heim. And now he has to sit parked and wait for the rest of the lead lap trucks to get by him before getting back up to speed. Hairpin in turn 7. Collects another driver for a spin. This time Jake Garcia on the opening lap to begin stage 2. At least as far as green flag laps go. And Cruz trying to put some distance between himself and Connor Zilic. We'll see if Zilic maybe can manage his tires a little better than Brent Cruz now that he is in 2nd. And while he's struggling to keep up with him right now, can he get back to him at some point in the later going of the stage? Honeycutt making another pass on Chandler Smith. Smith has been struggling today. I mean, he was back in 20th at one point on speed in stage 1. And he's in 12th right now, but that's because he flipped the stage. And he's getting mauled by all the playoff drivers that were ahead of him all the way through stage 1 otherwise. Corey Heim making a pass on Bailey Curry in the 45 truck for 6th. So Heim up to 6th. Last restart, he was in 8th, so it's only been 2 spots, 1 position per lap, essentially. Josh Malicki trying to pick up a spot for 4th on Corey LaJoie, and he does so successfully. Corey Heim right there behind LaJoie as well. Corey looking to the inside, a bluff. He'll be patient with LaJoie into the back stretch bus stop. Up out of the exit of the corner on ovals 3 and 4. Heim to the inside. Big block by LaJoie. Heim had the momentum to try to get by him. Now he'll try to outbreak him to the inside of the entrance to the front stretch chicane, and he clears LaJoie easily. After a big block by Corey a couple turns before that. So Heim back inside the top 5. For the first time since starting on the pole. 6 seconds off the race lead. Brent Cruz 1.7 seconds ahead of Connor Zilic and still growing that lead. That last lap, Cruz ran an 86.79 to Zilic's 87.31, about a half a second faster a lap as Cruz in the early going of the 2nd stage under green. Caden Honeycutt has cracked the top 10 again after winning stage 1. As he battles for 9th with Grant Enfinger. Another playoff driver into turn 7. Honeycutt to the inside. Should be able to make the pass on the 9. And does so cleanly and successfully. 5 seconds back to the third place truck of Giro Giro off the lead. And 5.5 seconds to Josh Balicki in fourth. $13 to go yet in stage 2 this time. I'm just waiting for that flip of Connor Zilisch to have a faster lap time than that of Brent Cruz. They had an interview with Zilisch in the pre-race that you got to listen into live on our KRC live commentary stream. And he stated that they felt they had a little bit of work left to do with the race truck to try to get it back to Zilich's liking. And while he's running good in comparison to most, looks like he's struggling a bit to obviously keep up with Cruz. So I guess that's that little bit of tuning that they still need to try to help his case out and help their driver give him a chance to win. Another truck around, that is Chris Wright. It looks to be out of the exit of turn 6 for that 16 truck. Wright got to finish out the Truck Series season in the 16 after starting the year full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, driving the number 5. Wright is corrected in the correct direction now, and somebody hit some signage on the front stretch chicane as well. Splashed a great deal of water, it looked like. Dawson Sutton going wide, taking the sign with him. Sutton overdrove the front stretch chicane earlier and spun out Timmy Hill. So that's the second time he spun out, that time at his own cost, hit the signage. Obviously staying under green still. As you see on the upper left-hand corner of our screen, that the green flag label is projected on the leaderboard. At contact from the Chris Wright spin, he was in 17th at the time. John Wood. Keep saying John Wood. Jack Wood. John Wood because of our NASCAR 08 season. But Jack Wood in the 91 was the truck who made contact with the back of Wright and spun him around. So 2.7 second lead still for Cruz. Only 0.3 faster than Zilisch that last lap. It was a half a second the first couple laps of the run. Slowly getting to that point where they might be meeting in the middle. There's quite a few bumps on the oval surface of the Charlotte layout. We've seen a bit of tire wear when we've seen the top 3 series run oval races here, and I think that's where a lot of that tire wear is coming from. More so than on the infield section. Infield section doesn't necessarily have a lot of grip either, but for different reasons than that of the oval. Where although they're not at the same high-speeds in general on the oval configuration, if it was an actual oval race, still going at a pretty decent rate. The heavy braking zones, middle of the backstretch off the exit of turn 4. Maybe lead into that tire wear just a bit more also. Corey Heim is up to third place quietly, 7.5 seconds off the lead. He got by his teammate Giro the last lap. Best lap for Heim was lap 27, which was 2 laps ago. He ran an 87.476. That's 0.2 faster than Brent Cruz's fastest lap of the race, which was on lap 25, just a couple laps before that. And then save for Connor Zilisch, his best lap is an 87.31, which was a lap before Heim's fastest lap. Zilich's fastest lap of the race is about 1/10 quicker than Heim. I guess Cruz has the fastest lap of the race overall at that 86.666. He's the only driver to run a sub 87-second lap time today. Caden Honeycutt, after winning the last stage, is up to 6th. So if the top 5 pit ahead of him, which I very well think is possible, then that would mean that Caden Honeycutt could go on and win the first 2 stages of today's race. And with the speed he's showing, still get a pretty decent finish out of it, considering he's already up to 6 and we still have 10 laps left in the stage. I think he could catch Ruggiero and maybe Balicki on speed. Definitely not going to catch the 1-7 or the 11. I think 4th place is going to be the ceiling for Honeycutt if we stay green to the end of stage 2. So top 10 right now has Brett Cruz in the lead, Connor Zilich in 2nd, Corey Heim 3rd, Josh Balicki 4th, Gio Ruggiero in 5th. 6th is Caden Honeycutt, Bailey Curry 7th, Corey LaJoy 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, Chandler Smith holding back on for 10th. Lap 31 of 67, 4 lead changes, 2 cautions, the stage break at lap 20, the Ben Rhodes crash at lap 3. 6 caution laps so far of the first 31 complete. And a 3.3 second lead for Brett Cruz. I would not have had Brett Cruz winning this race on my bingo card. Somebody blew the backstretch chicane that last time by. I didn't see who it was. They panned away from that section of the racetrack camera-wise immediately after the fact. They were trying to focus in on Ty Majeski. They got a story going on him at the moment. Majeski's just outside the top 10. Round of 8, race 1 at the Charlotte Roval continues right here on KRC. We'll go through the full field leaderboard now. Brett Cruz leads, Connor Zilich in 2nd, Corey Heim 3rd, Josh Balicki 4th, Gio Ruggiero in 5th. Caden Honeycutt is 6th, Bailey Curry 7th, Corey LaJoy 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, Chandler Smith is 10th, Raja Caruth 11th, Tyler Ankrum 12th, Daniel Hemrick 13th, Connor Mosack 14th, Ty Majeski 15th, Tanner Gray 16th, Jack Wood 17th, Will Rogers in 18th, 19th for Matt Crafton, Matt Mills 20th, Lane Riggs 21st, Timmy Hill 22nd, Jake Garcia 23rd, Wesley Slimp 24th, Josh Riem 25th, Ben Mayer 26th, Spencer Boyd 27th, Tony Breidinger 28th, Tyler Tomasi 29th, and Dawson Sutton 30th. Chris Wright 31st is the last truck in the lead lap, then Andres Perez is 32nd, Mason Maggio 33rd, Parker Kligerman 34th. Carter Fatuch, I said that wrong, Carter Fatich in 35th, and then Ben Rhodes again out of the race in 36th. Fatich is out of the race as well, and I think Kligerman had pulled into the garage area 12 laps ago with a mechanical issue that he had sustained late in stage 1 after running in the top 10 early on. So we'll take a quick break and continue our live commentary coverage into the second half of today's Craftsman Truck Series Ecosave 250. Chat poll will close at the end of stage 2. Then we'll have our diecast showing at the end of stage 2 also for today's race. I'm going to let you listen into the FS1 booth when they come back from commercial. I got to go down and feed the dogs, as it is going to be about that time. Refill my water, and I'll be back up in a few minutes. Six to go in the stage.
Craftsman Truck Series, live from Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval. Brett Cruz continues to lead, the 17-year-old, making his 8th career truck start. Not driving like he only has 7 starts under his belt, but what a day it has been. From the drop of the green flag, this was turn 1, lap 1. Corey Heim 9-time winner of the season goes around. Lane Ricks, who's second in points right there. Severe damage. Grant Enfinger collected. The team works diligently on all the damage on the 11 truck. And he put on the show, guys. From the back, one at a time, he has worked his way up to third. He's definitely still in this thing.
Yeah, well, he just ran his first lap faster than the leader of Rick Cruz that last lap. So his truck is still capable of winning this race. But he was about a foot from missing that tire pack, the end of that tire pack into turn one. And I've hit them both. And I can tell you the wall does a lot more damage than the tire pack.
I tell you, he's reeling in kind of Silvage too. I mean, saying how right now he's the fastest truck on the racetrack the last lap. I mean, he's looking to see if he can get past Zillage. That's going to put him in a decent spot for trying to win this race after the stage. The other thing you wonder too, like all that damage too, is it going to affect his pit stops, right? The speed of the pit stop. Are they able to get that right front tire out of that fender well? Is he going to lose spots on pit road? You know, those are all things that the pit crew's going to have to deal with too.
Yeah, that's a good point because that fender on the right front is way over the tire.
One note while we were away, Andres Perez in the 44 truck for Nissan Motorsports went to the garage. He was running 6 at the time, had a transmission issue.
So it's one of those tracks where things break, right? Transmissions, rear gears. We see just suspension pieces today. It's just a challenging racetrack for everybody. Driver, team, everybody.
And for the truck teams in general, they've not raced on anything like that. You see a lot of smoke down the back straightaway from somebody.
Watch the feet here. That's Corey Hyde. So this is a tricky braking corner here because you got lateral in it, so it's easy to lock the inside tire. You see, he gives it a little double check on the brake, make sure it's there, it's pumped up good. Grabs a couple downshifts. So easy to the throttle. He's always at the security hit. I don't know if you do that, Kevin, or needs to do that, but if you give it a tap, make sure she's still there before you barrel it into the corner.
It's so interesting with these hanging pedals compared to the floor mount pedals that are in the next gen car and how tight that brake pedal is in the next gen car. It was so hard to break that habit to not pump the brake because of it. Engage the brakes on the next gen car, where in these types of vehicles, you always did that courtesy pump.
Well, what happens too sometimes, you run over curves or things like that, it'll kind of bounce the pads away from the rotors. And it does create a little bit of a gap. So you want to be able to push those pads back up against the rotor before you clobber onto the brake pedal. You want to make sure you have that feel right. There he is.
Corey Hunt about 2 seconds behind Connor Zilic. You saw that blue number 7 right ahead of him. Frank Fritz about 4 seconds ahead of Connor Zilic. 6 seconds now. So that window to flip the stage should be opening here shortly. In the next 2 to 3 laps, we should see if anybody's going to flip it. That would be the time.
Yeah, and Grant Cruz will pit letting the most of them being leader because when he crosses the finish line with 2 to go, that's when the pits close. So, you still got Caden Honeycutt still sitting there in fifth.
We got tire carcass here. This might all change everything anyways.
We should wonder where it came from.
And this is one of those situations, if you see this on the racetrack right now, bring her to pit road before the caution comes out for a size of debris that big. And there you see Gio Rogerio, they saw it. This is going to cycle him up front because he's going to make his pit stop unless they throw the caution for that or don't throw the caution for that.
It's below the racing line, right at the start, at the alternate start finish line between 3 and 4 on the oval. So we remain green as Tanner Gray comes in for his tires and fuel.
Well, this will be interesting to see how NASCAR called this because I've seen in the past where NASCAR doesn't want to get to the green flag cycle and screw up people's strategies. But you've also seen when there's a tire carcass on the racetrack, they throw the caution for it. And that's pretty much, I mean, it's on the apron, but it's right where you're running, right on the line. So definitely interesting. If I saw that on the racetrack, I'm coming up the road.
Yeah, here
Connor
comes-
Village on pit road. Caitlin is coming your way.
Yeah, Connor Zillich pits from second, said he was tight center, loose off, also saying, I feel like I have no grip anywhere. So they're going to go ahead and do a track bar adjustment for the 7th.
$41 Connor's first. Josh Balicki in for his service. Ty Majeski on pit road as well. Balicki's done a nice job.
He's had a great day's practice, qualifying, put together a nice race. This guy, Ty Majeski, he's been miserable inside the truck, but they are grinding it out. You see some damage on the right front fender. We've seen him stop at the back chicane. When he missed the chicane, a little trouble on the left rear right there, but
Talk about a miserable day. Lane Riggs didn't have a shot. It ended before we even started.
Yeah, he's got no sway bar on that truck, Lane Riggs. So he's been struggling with a lot of roll in his truck.
here comes your leader, Brent Cruz on pit road.
Pitts with a 7.5 second lead over Corey Heim.
Uh-oh.
You get the right front off.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about on Heinz' truck, and this truck's got the clearance on the fender, but when that tire doesn't drop down very fast, it's hard for the tire changer to get out.
Pit board sign, little rocket.
Well,
Always had the happy face.
Amanda,
Yeah, as the pits over the wall on the right hand side of that truck, you see them pulling out that fender as you guys were concerned about hitting that right front tire on there. You know, it is not a good looking truck, but as they say, don't judge a book by its cover. This could be a winner yet today, guys.
Absolutely. He has been through war and back, from the back to the front. Hit it from second. So Caden Honeycutt right there is your leader.
and I think we talked about this earlier about putting themselves in the middle of the pack. They didn't have any issues on the restart, and now they're in that same position again to be able to take a stage win, gather another 10 points, and right now, the way that it stands, the 34 truck is actually on the outside looking in, and Nate Honeycutt keeps making up those points, but we'll see how this cycles around when they come to pit road and we see all the points as they run then. But he has made up a ton of points, and Lane Riggs came in with a 22-point advantage, and with his sway bar breaking, that is exactly what he didn't want to see, was to give up those points and not score any stage points with a really fast truck.
Yeah, Kate Honeycutt's gonna, go through this lap. He's gonna have 20 points just in stages alone. He's put himself in a pretty good spot. And he'll cycle, like we said, he'll cycle his way back, and then he'll have to fight his way back up. But when it comes to just maximizing the day, how many points did I score? I don't care where I finished. How many points did I score? Caden Honeycutt, Infinger, Caruth, these guys, Hemrick as well. They're going for the max points day.
Caden Honeycutt got the stage win earlier, first stage win of the season. Looking to pick up his second one here on the final lap of stage number 2.
And as a crew chief, when you're sitting up on the box and it all works out and you don't wreck on the restart, you're able to cycle your way back up there, win another stage. You're in a fortunate spot that everything cycles through, but it is definitely a chance that you take when you don't flip these stages from a track position standpoint.
But you said it, Kevin. Honeycutt, Infinger, Caruth, Hemrick, all these guys, they're not going to go up there and beat Cruz and Hine. They're not fast enough. So you got to understand that and accept it. Sometimes you don't want to, but you have to. It's okay. How do we make our day great, even though we're not the fastest? This is how you do it.
Here comes Caden Honeycutt. He picks up the second stage win of the day. All three of his career stage wins have come right here, actually. That's Charlotte. He got one on the Oval earlier this season as well. Well, Stuart Friesen, the man that normally drives this truck, he's the co-owner of the truck. He is at home healing up. He's got to like what he's seeing here today at Charlotte. Good stops on the backside.
Caden Honeycutt sweeps the stages today at the Charlotte Roval. Most laps led the race. Brent Cruz, who finishes 5th at the end of the stage. Cruz has led for 32 of the 40 laps so far, and has really been dominating this race, not only in the lap sled side of things, but speed. Overall, he has been quicker than Connor Zilic. He's been slowly pulling away from him these first couple of runs. Same goes for Corey Heim, who's now back up towards the front of the pack for the first time after damage from lap 1. We'll get to see Corey Heim restart within the front couple of rows with that of Zilic and Cruz. But I don't think Connor Zilic has anything for Brent Cruz based off of those first two stages. Unless that 7 team's able to make some massive adjustments enough to allow Connor to be able to drive in maybe just a little bit harder. There's some of the tighter corners around this racetrack to make up some of that lost time that he is losing on a lap-by-lap basis to the one team. So stage 2 results have Caden Honeycutt winning the second stage, Grant Enfinger second, Raja Karut third, Daniel Hemrick fourth, Brent Cruz in fifth, Tyler Ankrum sixth, seventh for Connor Zilic, Corey Heim 8th, Matt Mills 9th, Josh Balicki in 10th. 1 point per position there. A lot of playoff drivers up inside the top 10 spots, a few of which stayed out of the pits entirely to get those points at the end of stage 2, including Caden Honeycutt, who won the stage. So he'll definitely be pitting. And this will be the final stop of the day for the race, as long as we stay green. I believe there is an extra set of tires available to these teams that if a caution were to come out later, then they could end up pitting. Now, Corey Heim did use that extra set of tires after the lap 1 incident, so he actually would have to stay out of the pits if we did see another caution, which brought quite a few drivers onto pit road for fresh tires, because he just wouldn't have those tires available. Even if he were to put scuffs on, they wouldn't be anywhere near as good as stickers anyway, so probably just end up staying out of the pits overall. So 25 laps to go this time by when they do open up pit road for the teams that did not pit under green late in the second stage.
It's on standby.
Parker's been a pretty good standby driver. If anyone remembers the Xfinity race in Daytona, he got in for Connor Zilic, and yeah, he won that one. So, if you're going to be a guy that needs to get in for someone, I'd say Parker does a pretty good job at it.
Well, we're hearing that the 20 of Will Rogers from Young's Motorsports was not feeling well. He's still in the truck. He might try to tough it out here, but they're getting Parker ready just in case. So why would you do this? Well, if your driver's not feeling good, he's going to get out. Why would you ask another driver to hop in to finish it?
Someone's got to finish the race. Right? I mean,
That's a dumb question, Jamie.
NASCAR racing is not, I know we like to glorify the drivers, but it's not just the drivers, right? Like, these teams are out there racing for points. There's a lot of men and women that are working on these race cars. And if you're not up for the job, right, you're not feeling good, it doesn't mean the car is parked, right? Like, you got to put somebody in it. The race must go on, right? You got to put somebody in it. And, luckily for them, Parker's there on the sidelines, which is a great driver if you're going to have to do this.
He's a super sub. We saw what he did at Daytona not too long ago. Connor Zilic broke his collarbone, started the race, had to get out. Parker finished the race, won the race, but he doesn't get credit for it because Connor started it. But to your point, Joey, the team gets the points. You finish it up. If Parker can make up a couple of positions, that's extra points for them.
And financially, it matters too, right? These trucks, depending on where you finish, it's the difference on how much you get paid. The team gets paid. So, yeah, you got to go out there and get those spots.
And another thing, when you're racing every week, you want to try to be in the right group in qualifying and get the right pit stall. So there's just an endless amount of things where the finishing position helps, whether it's financially or pit stalls or whatever it is. There are benefits from finishing as far forward as possible.
Here we go. Pits look like they're going to be open.
Here they come. Kate Honeycutt leads them down pit road. Todd.
Yeah, Caden Honeycutt's crew chief, Jimmy Villeneuve, decided to stay out again and take that stage win, get those points. Caden drove to 7th place under green. Jimmy feels like they can get back in that top 10 under green. Went for the points. Caden said, don't change your truck. I love it the way it is. Caitlin.
Well, Todd, looking at the 71 of Raja Caruth, respectable day for him. Picked up points in both stages, saying he's tight 4 and 5. Feels like he's been lacking drive all day in that 71. The 9 of Grant Enfinger, great bounce back after an early incident for that team. He says it's loose in turn 6, but the balance is pretty neutral, Amanda.
Yeah, hopefully the calorie from that team is wrapping up the pit stop for them. His crew chief told Tyler it is going to be a battle the rest of the way. A lot of teams are expecting this stage 3 to get ugly. Mark Hillman said, hammer on them.
Raja Caruth's team, nice job. Picked him up 2 spots.
You talk about this race getting ugly, meaning it's going to get aggressive. I can see that. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the first 4 or 5 laps.
That's right.
And then I can see it maybe creating some separation. But it's going to be fun when you see Daniel Hemrick here that they're trying to fix that left front fender that they had some damage on.
Said it didn't feel like it was affecting the truck. May as well take the time. Quite a few laps still left here at the Roval. 25 laps to go officially from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Brent Cruz, leader.
Not only the leader, but again, he has been dominating this race today. We'll see if he can hold on for the final stage. Our leaderboard has to shake up still following the pit stop, so what you see on screen is not exactly correct. Brent Cruz will be the leader. Connor Zilic will be in second. I believe Corey Heim is going to be third, and Josh Balicki fourth. Reached the hour 20-minute point of this race with just less than 25 laps to go in the first ever Craftsman Truck Series race at the Charlotte Roval. We'll end our chat poll since we have reached the end of stage number 2. 39 votes were casted. And you guys, the fans, have 49% of those votes to Connor Zilic to win his first career Craftsman truck race today. Corey Heim at 26% of the votes. Somebody other than Heim Zilic are Riggs at 17%, Lane Riggs 8%. Having sway bar issues, so he is not going to win the race today of those 8% that did vote for him. And time for the diecast showing. It is the Charlotte Roval race weekend, and this diecast is from 2018 of Ryan Blaney, who won the Roval at the 2018 inaugural Cup date. And he was running this very paint scheme. Now, this isn't the car he ran that race. He actually ran this at Las Vegas earlier in the year, because it doesn't have the playoff emblem of the car. And if anybody remembers from the 2018 playoffs, they actually had emojis on the side of the car. Wild time. But anyway, none of that is on this race car. I believe this is actually from Las Vegas specifically, which would have been the Pennzoil 400. But he had the Pennzoil sponsored car. It was this very paint scheme, and he's ran this paint scheme several times, even in the next gen era as well. Figured I'd show it off for today's race. So that is today's live commentary. Stage 2 break die Sunday. Sarah India, welcome to the stream. And many others, if you're just tuning in for the first time, thanks for tuning in. We'll take a quick break, and I got to go down and let the dogs outside now. I'll be back in a couple of minutes as we begin this final stage.
Well, it's been exciting, guys, and it's been good and bad.
Really hoping I don't miss anything on this restart. Probably will.
But here's a look. The green flag.
Yes, and that was a mistake by Greg Inlinger, but it's wiped out a few of our playoff guys. And Ben Rose, big mistake back there in turn 5.
He just has a tarnish throughout the day. He's a carnage in the spinal corner here, spinal chicane, where it's just a tricky corner. Here you see turn 7 tonight. A lot of running into each other.
Yeah, a little payback right there from the 56 to the Dawson Sutton truck there. He got even.
Found out that there's water barriers holding those boards down.
It's exciting.
Joey needs to know this stuff. He's on track tomorrow.
I mean, I'd like to not figure that out personally.
Yeah, but you're gonna go through that much easier in your car than this truck.
Obviously.
You're gonna go right through it. So the splash could be bigger.
Oh, thanks. I was thinking I would get through the corner. Yeah.
Oh, I just meant,
Like I wouldn't hit it at all.
I can just hit it at full speed and blow it apart.
Cool.
So we see Parker Kligerman did not get in the 20, but he'll remain here. We're told that Will Rogers said that he wants to try this restart, see how he feels. He feels crummy. He's going to bring it down and see Parker climb aboard. So Joe, our stat guy, just gave me this. 50% of cautions on road courses this year occurred in the final stage.
Well, it sounds just like that radio chatter that we just heard from the teams. They must get Joe's stats.
It's good. Stay tuned.
Like I said, if it's gonna happen on these starts.
So the youngsters.
All right, we're going to have 23 laps to go on the restart here at the Charlotte Roval for the Craftsman Truck Series. Green flag is back in the air. Brett Cruz gets another great launch out of the restart zone. Connor Zilic in second right there behind him. Side by side for third between Josh Balicki and Corey Heim. Heim on the outside, going to be able to hold on to that spot. Bailey Curry, another Nice Motorsports Chevrolet, up inside the top 5 to 5th as he gets by Jiro Jiro in the Tricon Garage truck. So inside those top 6 positions, you got 3 Tricon Garage Toyotas and 2 Nice Motorsports Chevrolets. The outlier Connor Zilic for Spire Motorsports in second, who's putting a lot of pressure on a race leader Brett Cruz through the first couple of corners into this restart. Maybe Zilic wasn't showing all of his cards in the second stage. And maybe they've just made the adjustments right for that 7 as they've had a couple of pit stops today to try to get things in the right direction or a better direction for that of their driver. Josh Balicki in the 41 went for a spin out of turn 7. That's a tough break because he was in 4th. And now he's going to be tail end of the lead lap. Have to wait to see who the contact was with. As they show the replay, it looked like from behind, Gio Ruggiero got into the 45 of Bailey Curry, and then Curry ended up into his teammate. That's unfortunate. Friendly fire, but obviously wasn't even really Curry's fault. He was getting hit from behind as that contact came from a couple trucks back, and that's similar to what we've seen on restarts with that new hairpin in turn 7 and a couple of the Xfinity, or in the Xfinity race last year as well as the Cup event. Broken sway bar and all. Lane Riggs up to 10th place. And I would assume that team has made some adjustments or fixes to the race truck. Not sure if they were able to get a complete fix to that during the multiple cautions we've seen in this race since his lap 1 incident. But, again, Riggs in 10th, trying to salvage something out of the day. Came in 22 points above the cut line. He only got 1 stage point. A lot of the other drivers in the standings obviously got a ton of stage points that stayed out of trouble. The other 5 that weren't Corey Heim, Riggs, or Enfinger. So he had a little bit of a point cushion, but didn't want to use all of that in this first race, especially with Talladega and Martinsville looming. Ty Majeski making a pass around the 17 of Gio Ruggiero for 5th, and he is now going after Curry for 4th, who is directly in front of him as well. Got about a 9/10 of a second gap for Cruz over Zilich. 1.8 seconds to Corey Heim in third. Bailey Curry in fourth is 7.3 seconds off the lead already. As it's a 3-truck breakaway at the front of the field. 21 laps to go this time by.
Pulling back a little bit. He's worked on his racecraft. He is one of those that sat in the sim with Corey Heim's teammate, just watching and listening to try to learn this place. And it's showing.
Something wild to look at here, guys, is look at the gap. The first 3 trucks all within 2 seconds. Look at the gap from third to fourth, back 8 seconds. Some of that's because of pace, sure, but a lot of it's because they've been racing. The 41, who was fourth, got spun out. A lot of trucks checked up for that. They created this huge gap. So if you lose touch of the leaders like they do right now, the only prayer they have is a caution.
Their trucks battling for forward.
And that is not the place you want to be on the outside of the racetrack, but it puts you in a good position.
Oh, 3 wide. Majeski saw that spark from that's an experienced racer right there. Majeski saw it happening and gassed up before the 1/3 point of the corner, so he didn't get dumped. He said, I got to get out of the way. And he did the dump shot and he picked to make sure he got out of the way and secure that position.
So right behind them, Lane Bridge just picked up 2 more spots into 8th.
Those are the moves that puts Ty Majeski having a chance to win the championship year in and year out. Little things like that doesn't matter.
Well, sometimes the best defense is protecting yourself and putting yourself in the right spots and not just saying, oh, you guys there too far. When you can anticipate those types of things and prevent them from happening, that's good defense.
Corey Heim closing that gap to Connor Zilich. Great battle up front, the top 3 spots. 20 laps to go from Charlotte.
Yeah, a lot of racing still to go here today at the Charlotte Roval. I was looking back at the stats for Connor Mosack and road courses this year. I remember he was up in the top 3 for a lot of that Watkins Glen race, and I think he got taken out of a late race incident. He was also up to a good top 10, top 5 run at Lime Rock Park. Didn't have a great finish. He was 16th at the end of both of those races. Today, we haven't really seen Mosack anywhere near the front of the pack, but he's up to 6th after this restart to begin stage 3, so things are going well for him late. I guess really he's only dependent on that race finish result, considering he's not in the running for the championship. So being in the top 10 is a good run for the rookie Mosack. 7 lead changes, 3 cautions, 2 of them the stage ends at lap 20, lap 40. The lap 3 crash with Ben Rhodes was the other. That was obviously back at stage 1. We have 19 laps to go in the race. We're almost an hour and a half in. 9 laps spent under caution. 3 caution laps per caution today. Not only the average, but that is what it was for both the incident stage 1 and the 2 stage breaks. Once more, Brent Cruz, the race leader. Connor Zilich in 2nd. Corey Heim 3rd. Ty Majeski 4th. And Bailey Curry rounds out the top 5 and 5th. 6th place is Connor Mosack. Caden Honeycutt in 7th. Lane Riggs 8th. Gio Ruggiero 9th. Corey LaJoy rounds out the top 10. Chandler Smith in 11th. Jake Garcia 12th. Grant Enfinger 13th. Tyler Ankrum 14th. And 15th is Raja Caruth. Matt Mills in 16th. Daniel Hemrick 17th. Tanner Gray 18th. Matt Kraft in 19th. To Will Rogers 20th. 21st for Timmy Hill. Chris Wright 22nd. Jack Wood 23rd. Dawson Sutton 24th. Tony Breidinger 25th. Josh Balicki after that spin on the restart was 4th. He is now 26th. Spencer Boyd in 27th. Mason Maggio 28th. Wesley Slimp 29th. And Ben Mayer in 30th. Tyler Tomasi 31st. Josh Reum 32nd. Andres Perez 33rd is out of the race and would also be the first car off the lead lap. Carter Fatsich back in the race. He's 34th. Parker Kligerman out 35th. And Ben Rhodes 36th. Remember, Kligerman on standby still for the driver of the number 20, Will Rogers, who was in 19th. Having a decent run for himself today under the weather. Trying to tough it out for these last 20 or so laps. But with Kligerman out, he would be the standby driver if they have to make a driver change at some point between now and the finish. Crazy, out of one vehicle into the ride of another to end the race, and it's not something new or something unusual that we haven't seen in the NASCAR realms. Out of the commercial break on FS1, a pass for 2nd place was made. Corey Heim getting by Connor Zilich. Drove it in very deep into turn 7, kind of using him up a little bit and making that pass. He didn't want to waste any time. He knows how desperate he is to get this win and tie Greg Biffle for the all-time single-season record. We haven't seen Heim lead a lap today despite qualifying on the pole. He's 2.8 seconds off of his teammate and the race leader, Cruz. Does he have anything for him? They're both in-house teammates, so in the same equipment, it's going to be driver versus driver. And I would assume the damage hasn't stumped Corey Heim to this point, considering he is all the way up to second. And all that on speed to this point. Ty Majeski was able to break up into 4th place during the commercial break. Connor Mosak into the top 5 and 5th. Bailey Curry has since fallen to 7th, and Honeycutt to 6th after winning the first 2 stages. 17 laps to go this time by. It doesn't look like Corey Heim is closing in on Brett Cruz for making that quick pass this lap for second on the racetrack. Wasn't the Roval done to put a road course in the playoffs? It was a combination of that, and it was a combination of, at the time with the Gen 6 not racing well on intermediates, they added a road course race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway because they couldn't take Charlotte off the second date of the schedule, because if my memory serves me correct, that they made that choice to move the Roval as a road course, or just even as a track in general, to the 2018 schedule in the season. I don't think it was before the season started that we knew that they were going to have a road course. I'm trying to put myself back into 2018 because it was a while ago now, but I'm pretty sure it was like early in the season, but after the season started when they're like, nope, the second race is not going to be an oval anymore. And here we are ever since, still running a road course, which, to your point, is the only one in the playoffs. I do think there should be at least one road course in the playoffs. I'd like them to go back to racing at the oval at Charlotte if they're going to have more than one date. One thing I do like as a racing fan is the fact that it isn't the same track more than once, because I'm big on the component of having no second dates at a racetrack, and if you are going to have a second date, it should be a different track, and I would consider this obviously a different track, with it being a road course, way different than an oval. But for pure racing quality, especially with the next-gen car and the Cup Series side, give me all the mile and a halves necessary. Because we've seen some great Coca-Cola 600s these last few years. 600 this year, one of my favorite races of the season. This weekend at Kansas almost took the cake. The finish, definitely better. I think it was the best finish we've seen of a race so far this season. With the Kansas Cup race last Sunday, I don't think it was the best race of the year. I still kind of lean towards the 600 being that, but it was a lot of fun. Heim is starting to eat into that lead. The first couple of laps after getting to second place, he was stagnated in lap times of that of Brett Cruz, but the last time by, he has cut the lead to 2.6 seconds. When he initially made the pass on Zilich, he was 3.1 seconds off the lead. 15 to go this time by. Another spin around of turn 7. This time it is the 18 of Tyler Ankrum, who is running in 14th. Obviously, one of the playoff drivers is losing valuable points as he tries to get corrected in the correct direction. And he has now fallen out of the top 20. Tough break for Ankrum. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Brett Cruz still leads with 14 laps to go this time by on his teammate Corey Heim, who is trying to run him down. Cruz in just his 7th career Craftsman Truck Series start, trying to get his first career win. Can he do it? Top 10 in the running order. The intervals between them have Cruz in the lead by 2.8 seconds over his teammate Corey Heim. Third place is 3.5 seconds back of Connor Zilich. 17.2 seconds off the lead in fourth is Ty Majeski. Connor Mosak in fifth, 18.8 seconds off the lead. Caden Honeycutt, 19.5 seconds back in sixth. Gio Ruggiero, 22.8 seconds back in seventh. Corey LaJoy 24 seconds back in 8th. Lane Riggs now on to 9th place at 24.7 seconds off the lead. And Chandler Smith, his teammate, rounds out the top 10 at 25.5 seconds off the leader. Getting down to the wire. And what could be a battle between Toyota teammates, this time on a road course in the Truck Series compared to last week on the Xfinity Cup side. We're kind of dominated by Toyotas with Brandon Jones winning the Xfinity race. Up until that checkered flag flew, the top 5 all Toyotas in the Cup race on that final restart. And under the full screen commercial break, they are still under green flag conditions. We'll take our final break. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Ecosave 250 at Charlotte. The Roval. I'd like to believe that if Corey Heim didn't have the lap 1 incident, that he would be the guy to beat without any damage in track position. He's got the track position back, but is the damage just enough to take off Brent Cruz? I know he's driven his way to second, but still having the damage there, you just wonder if he didn't have any at all, would he be just a little bit quicker? And not only quick enough to keep up with the one, but quick enough to be right there with him. If Heim doesn't win this race, he's going to have to win 2 of the last 3 races to break Greg Biffle's record for the most wins in a single truck season. He needs 1 more to tie it. And with Talladega as one of those last 3 races, it's going to be very difficult for him to get those wins. This is a race I chalked him up to win coming into the day. He had won the first 2 road courses of the year prior. And although he's still got time, at the same time, he's running out of laps late. 12 to go for Cruz this time by at the start-finish line. It's still a 2.8 second advantage. Connor Zilic is now 5.8 seconds off of the lead in 3rd. And still about 19.5 seconds back is Majeski at 4th. Caden Honeycutt made a pass during the commercial break for 5th on Connor Mosack, so Honeycutt back in the top 5. And he's looking to score more points than anybody today with the 2 stage wins already and the top 5 performance. That's over a 50-point day for Honeycutt if he can hold on. He's up 11 spots since the restart from 16th. Started the day in 5th. And if we do get a caution, a lot of these teams still have another set of tires left at the end also. So that is also worth mentioning. A couple of niche trucks getting into one another. Matt Mills into the back of the 45 of Bailey Curry on the exit of turn 6. And now looking to pass him on the outside through ovals 1 and 2.
Fun to watch as they go into the chicane. It doesn't seem like there's much give and take between these 2. It's not going to be here either. It's like they're going to sort of things out.
You see Bailey Curley and Matt Mills. You see 45 running up the hill like, hey, man, what are we doing here? Josh Balicki's like, let's keep it up, boys.
Well, two for one. He's trying to figure out what lane he should get in here.
Oh,
Which was going to keep him from that happening. Matt Crafton taking advantage of really all that, getting a couple spots.
That was all a battle for 15. Balicki falls back now a couple spots. Crafton gets around. Moves into 17th.
yeah, we saw that 45 of Bailey Curry hit that blue turtle. You've hit him, Joey. I mean, when you hit the front side of it like that, it will definitely get your attention.
Yeah, and you saw Balicki kind of took most of that hit where he had to lift, not get into the wall. But it's really not much you can do. After you hit that curve and the whole truck goes up in the air, you're along for the ride as a race car driver.
Well, 45 truck
Matt Crafton.
has been super aggressive. He just drove in there and
Got him.
flat out took Matt Crafton out.
I want Matt Crafton mad at me.
Well, he's going to be mad about that one. As he should be.
Remember what he did to Nick Sanchez?
Greg Cruz, meanwhile, has extended his lead over Corey Heim, 3.5 seconds.
Well, we talked at the beginning of the race who we thought could compete with Corey Heim. And we talked about this one truck of Greg Cruz being the one that was probably able to keep up. Now we've seen Heim got crashed on the first lap, has some damage, took a little bit of speed out of his truck probably, but I think truck to truck, I think as this race went on, Greg Cruz was going to get a little bit better and a little bit better as he got more comfortable in the vehicle. He races, but he doesn't race it every week, and we know how good and how much talent Brent has to be successful on these road courses and everything else that he's ever driven. So I know Corey Heim wrecked, but I still felt like that this one truck was going to have the possibility of racing with Corey Heim today head to head.
He's done a good job too. I mean, look at his truck. There's no marks on that thing. I mean, he's got one little donut on the left rear. He's done a good job.
As a leader crosses the line, we've now reached our Craftsman, 10 to go. And back to Brent Cruz. I mean, what makes it even more impressive to me is he's a part-time guy. We mentioned he's only, his 8th start in the series.
Yeah. We tend to go. It's a long time here. Right? We tend to go. A lot of things can happen still. So he's doing a good job just clicking laps off. Get to the end of this thing as quick as possible.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at Corey Heim compared to Greg Cruz and everything that he's been able to accomplish in the truck series and the experience that he has, and, obviously Greg Cruz's Rolodex is not as big as what it needs to be to get the other races that go along with what you need outside of your part-time gig, right? So he's not raced as much this year as Corey Heim and getting the experience in other places aside from the truck series. So it's definitely impressive to see what Brent is doing in this part-time role, but not surprising on a road course.
Corey Heim had the fastest lap the last time around.
Oh, wow.
Greg Cruz second. He shrunk that lead just a little bit.
Yeah, Cruz is going to have to deal with some lap traffic here as well.
It's Wesley Slimp in the 62. It's the second Helmar Friesen truck.
Heim's cutting into the lead.
Greg Cruz heads into turn 1. Clears them no problem.
And right now, if you're Brent Cruz and you're sitting inside the truck, you're like, all right, no cautions. All I want to do here is just, I've got a nice lead right now. There's no chaos, nothing stressful about what is going on at this current moment. I just want to have clean racetrack and do the things that I need to do. And as we rounded turn 4 right there, I saw 3 more lap trucks off in the distance right there. So we've seen, as Brent went by this lap truck, the 62, he lost a second of his lead. So it is not hard to lose a 2-second lead if something doesn't go right in lap traffic.
That lead was 3.5 seconds just 2 laps ago. It's down to 2 seconds. Brent Cruz continues to lead here at Charlotte. We're going to step aside. You won't miss a thing. We're going side by side.
I'm shocked but not shocked at the same time that they're taking a commercial break with 8.5 laps to go, but they are under a commercial break all of a sudden here at the Charlotte Roval. This is going to be a race for the finish. I don't think this thing's over yet between Corey Heim and Brent Cruz. Kind of the calm before the storm, if you will. Cruz is still going to have to catch a few lap trucks before the end of the race in these final 8 laps, and being caught behind one of them for just about a half a lap or so disallowed his lead by about a second or so to that of Corey Heim. Connor Zillich still over 6.5 seconds back in the 3rd spot, and over 20 seconds back is Ty Majeski in 4th. Easy Network, welcome into the stream. Heim going to win if it stays green. Wow. Well, it is Corey Heim. Definitely can't doubt him. Cruz gets by these 3 lap trucks. Is going to be a little bit of a break, and then he'll catch another one, and I think that might be it for a little while. Knowing how many laps we still have left and the trucks at the back of the field, he still may catch more before the end of the race, but this is going to be the heaviest dose of the lap traffic he's got to the finish. Into turn 7, has to charge the corner hard to get by Reum in the 33. Corey Heim going to do the same to get by the 02. Does so. One lap truck now still between the top 2 positions in the running order. Onto the backstretch bus stop. Lead is a 1.5 seconds for Brent Cruz, who is trying to work desperately to get by Spencer Boyd in the 76. Was not able to do so up out of the bus stop. He has to run behind him in ovals 3 and 4. Heim is still trying to catch the 33. He's going to look to outbrake him into the front stretch chicane. Not gonna get by him without a little bit of a fight. Surprised the 33 didn't just lay over and let the 11 go. Kind of raced him side by side on entry into the corner, and that opened up Cruz's lead just a bit. While Cruz, also in that set front stretch chicane, was able to finally get by the 76 of Spencer Boyd. Corey Heim still trying to do the same. He gets by Boyd through turns 3 and 4. Went a bit wide up out of the exit of turn 4, clipped the grass with the left side tires was Heim. 6 laps to go this time by when they get back to the front stretch. 1.8 second lead, so Cruz gets about a half a second back or so over Corey Heim. I think at the shortest leash, it was about a 1.2 to 1.3 second lead in the middle of that lap traffic. Both these trucks have a little bit of clean air. Once the 11 gets closer to the back of the 1, the advantage will be back to the 1 truck until more lap traffic will be caught.
There's one lap truck ahead of them. And then they're pretty clear after that.
This lap can tell us a lot. This is kind of the first lap both of these trucks have had clean running without passing a lap car in the last 5 laps or so. This will kind of show us the pace that these guys are running at.
And you just don't want to catch the lap truck in the wrong spot, which Brent is going to catch that lap truck in the middle of turns 1 and 2. So what he's hoping is he's able to clear this truck. There you go. That 16 truck did the right thing. Moved out of the way for goal.
And that last lap, they both ran 80, 90s, 195 or 96. I mean, they're basically the same pace that last lap.
Yeah, and at this point, it's trying not to make that big mistake that costs you a half a second. A second all at once, as you see that truck a little bit loose right there in the 6.
Well, those are the little mistakes that stack up, right? You got to chase it a little bit, get a little bit wide there. It's going to hurt you a little bit in turn 7 because your angle wasn't as good as you wanted it to be. And it's going to stack up, might be a 10th or 2 right there.
And there's just nowhere to hide here at this place. When you make those mistakes, it costs you lap time. No matter how big or small it is, it's bigger than most places because of how technical it is, of how much the roll speed means, and what it leads to.
Right.
A lot of times you make the mistake in the wrong spot, it leads to a really long straightaway.
The precision you need to get around the Roval is so important. It's your point, Kevin. You get onto these long straightaways, a little mistake gets exaggerated. But also, like, through the infield part, the technical, the tight stuff, you miss one corner, it goes right into the next corner, you're offline, then you're offline for the next one, and it's hard to get straight back out.
Love this split screen. I was just thinking about David Gilliland, Johnny Bray, the co-owners, the Tricon Garage. The 11 does all the winning. The 1 team has yet to win under the Tricon Garage umbrella. In fact, the 1 truck has not won a race since 2009.
Wow.
Be a big moment for this team. Jacob Hampton right there on the right side.
Who would have won? Elliott Sadler?
And he's dealing with different drivers coming in week in and week out. He gets Brent for a handful of races, and somebody else comes in.
These guys just matching each other's lap times. Both of them, the first 2 trucks are the 2 fastest. Both within 100 again.
Meanwhile, we saw Scott Cipodelli in the group shoot for Corey Heim. I don't think he sweats much. He's pretty even feel like Corey. stays even keel. He knows what they're capable of. Doesn't get too stressed about things.
Well, that's what puts them in position to do things like they did today. It's like, all right, we crashed. Okay, well, what do we got to do to fix it? We're not going to sit here, yell and scream and dwell on who did what. What do we need? Corey's very good at, and Scott is as well. They're both very good at analyzing. All right, what's next? All right, we need some bare bond. We need to get the fender off the tire. All right, get those tires off. You got to start directing orders to go to the next phase of what you can do. And it puts us back in a position to at least be in the conversation. You know, there's more to go. You don't know if a caution is going to fly here. You don't know if Grant could make a mistake, but you're at least in the conversation because you're solving those problems. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of young drivers and truck teams don't understand is
Whoa, that's a
big lockup.
Pete Garcia comes in hot.
But we are problem solvers, to finish that comment.
And they go back to it. It's because they have a lot of confidence in each other. And they should, because they won a ridiculous amount of races. So they should be confident in each other. But that's what momentum in sports is when you believe in each other so much that you really can't shake it. Right? You got to just fight through adversity like it's nothing.
Daniel Hemrick back in 14th. Checking in on some battles throughout the field. Granted, Finger just picked up that spot. That moves him into 11th. Been a rough one for him as well.
But he's got some points. You say it's been a rough one, sure. His truck's beat up, but they went for the stage points. So he's still doing good on points on the day because he got stage points at both stages and he's just outside the top 10.
Points are so tight for this round of 8 so far.
Yeah, and you know that Grant's sitting inside that truck. He knows that first lap, or I guess we can call it the first lap. I always call it lap 0. Right.
What? How does Brent Cruz's radio running out of fuel?
What?
Whoa. And some of it could be just road courses, you know, the pickups are in a different spot, the fuel cells. You got to assume they got enough gas in it. Maybe they tried to leave it a little bit light, considering.
Well, Tony Breidenger's slow.
There was a truck that was stopped right there, so
That's going to bring out a caution.
So they've hit it on lap 38.
Oh, no.
Right now we're on 64.
I think we're getting a caution. That 5 truck's not going to make it back into the pits.
Front. There's Tony Breidinger, the teammate of Brent Cruz and Corey Heim.
Guys, that's going to bring out a caution.
yes.
That has to. That's a very dangerous spot. How they have not thrown a caution at this point is beyond me.
Yeah.
That is a very dangerous place to be sitting.
Yeah. You couldn't sit in a worse spot.
Yeah.
This racetrack.
Oh boy. Talk about pressure.
It's the last thing you want to see is the leader.
That's-
What I say, it's NASCAR racing, man. You never know.
And that's what we were talking about, because as the driver, you're sitting inside of that truck, just knowing that the possibility of it happening is probably pretty high.
Yeah, I
Because it
know.
always seems to happen.
This happens.
And on top of it, now he's worried that he's running out of fuel. So what do you do?
Cross your fingers and hope for the best. I'm not coming down pit road.
Kevin?
I mean, they don't have anything to lose. So unless it is so obvious that it's out of fuel, and how that last little piece of the race went right there, the last half a lap for him, they got to analyze to see if it's a problem that they think that they can't overcome and need to get to pit road. But I mean, unless it's at that point, you stay out there and hope for the best. Even though hope's a bad strategy, Joey.
Living on hopes and dreams over here, buddy. You gotta go for it.
The wrecker helping Tony Breidinger. Couldn't get
So
fired.
the other option here too is a lot of these trucks still have one set left of tires. I'd have a hard time coming in and doing that just for a green white checker. It's gonna be tough to get through the field. But if you're one of the back cars on the lead lap,
Yeah, I mean, if you're Tyler Ankrum running 16th, why not?
I think I'd maybe go for it. You know, I think there's some trucks that they're gonna try that, but I think if you're in the top 7 or 8, I think you're gonna have to stay out there, don't you think, Kevin?
I think so. I just, getting yourself buried back in the middle of this crazy restart here at the end is just going to put you in the middle of a storm.
Yeah. This is going to most likely be the wildest restart we have seen all day. And there's been contact of every one of them so far.
Yes, there has been. First NASCAR overtime in quite some time for the Truck Series. So Brent Cruz gets to live this. Corey Heim's probably loving this.
Yeah, Corey Heim's going to stay out because all he has is 2 tires left from the accident he had earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not like an oval race where you have places to go, like last week at Kansas, right? Like it's
To make up a bunch of
to
spots.
make up a bunch of spots, and you can maybe make up a couple spots getting into turn 1 if you get the restart right, but through 1, 2, 3, and 4, most likely through 5 and 6, your next spot you're stuck until you get to 7.
That's right.
Well, pit road is open. It looks like Brent Cruz's team is ready.
Well, if they're talking about fuel issues, then if they're that concerned about it, here comes the moment of truth as you come off of this corner right here is where the pit road opens.
Or Corey Heim shut it off there. They pitted together lap 38.
If they're about to pit, they would be tighter on them. But
Oh my
Here he
goodness.
comes giving up the lead. Brent Cruz, Connor Zillich.
There's a whole bunch of them coming in.
Stays out.
Heim doesn't have an extra set of tires, so I figured he was going to stay out.
I mean, a lot of trucks pit here, but boy, it's going to be a tall task.
Certainly more trucks pitted here and stayed out.
Yeah, and that's going to be really fortunate, for Zilich and Cruz.
Well, I just wondered for Corey, how close is he? We don't know how many overtimes. Well, we have 1. Well, we have 2.
I mean, they should be fine on fuel, like I said, unless they short filled them a little bit or something like that, and then put the full load of fuel on it. I was fine.
And I think a lot of people made the call, maybe not knowing that the one truck was having some fuel issues. They're like, oh my God, the leader is pitting. Pit, why not?
There's a lot of people who just follow the leader.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And if you follow the leader, I heard Larry Mack say this one time.
You're never going to win.
It's always stuck with me. If you follow the leader, you follow the leader. You never get ahead of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta do something different.
And Corey Heim didn't have a choice. He's got 2 tires, but they're left side tires.
Corey Heim, the leader. He's credited with leading 1 lap today. That was during green flag pit cycle. We'll see how it all shakes down. NASCAR overtime coming up.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by Corey Heim staying out on the racetrack. I'm curious to see exactly how many trucks stayed out along with Corey Heim, and then where the drivers on fresh tires are going to be for the restart. 2 laps to go when we get overtime kick started. We are obviously going past the scheduled distance here. It looks like by 3 laps with the caution that came out with 3 to go because of Tony Breidinger stalling out in between turns 5 and 6. Looked like she may have ran out of fuel, knowing that some of those Tricon garage trucks were a little bit tight. Well, it's opened up for an opportunity for Corey Heim to get his 10th win of the Craftsman Truck Series season and tie Greg Biffle for the all-time record for the most wins in a single Craftsman Truck Series season. And a win that could lock him up into the championship 4 as well. And the same goes for anybody else in the playoffs who could win this race with this late restart. It would too get locked up into the championship 4. And not have to worry about Talladega and Martinsville would be huge for any of those 8 drivers going for the championship still. 17 top 10s on the 21 races this year for Corey Heim. 15 top 5s. He has led coming into the day 1,438 laps. And these are the first laps he's led all day today despite qualifying on the pole. Under caution leading into the restart. We'll see if he can hold on for 2 more. Our leaderboard still is not completely updated because Connor Zilic pitted, so he is not the leader. Four tires are going to eat up Heim. Well, we've seen a couple seconds of fall off, but as Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano already mentioned, it's tough to deter because there's only select passing zones on the racetrack to take advantage of those fresh tires.
Bengals. Check local listings for the games in your area. Of course, that's only on Fox. All right, guys.
Well,
Start over time.
I think upon further review here, as many of these trucks that pitted, Connor Zilic and Ty Majeski actually beat Brent Cruz off of pit road on those four tires, but there are way less people in between them than I thought were going to be.
Yeah, I thought way more trucks would stay out. Like I said, a lot of them just follow the leader, and boy, Zilic is going to be. He's got to pass Chandler Smith, who hasn't been super fast today. Riggs, who doesn't have a sway bar, right? And Mozak's been okay, but on old tires.
Yeah,
This is going to be a good race.
it's going to be interesting for sure.
Okay, so how did we get here? We started the race with the truck that's leading right now, but oh, that's not the story. Let's take you back to lap 1, turn 1, lap 0, as Kevin Harvick says.
Yeah, you see the 9 truck make a mistake right there, turn down into the 34, which turns the 11 into the barrier and takes 3 of your playoff drivers on lap 0 into the fence.
And they fought all the way back up to what you see now. And it looked like they were going to finish second if this thing went green. Now they find themselves, like we talked about all the time, this is Corey Heim type things to do. Just manages, handles the situation, puts himself in position again. Now he's in position to win this race. Is it easy? No, he's going to have his hands full with Connor Zilic and Ty Majeski. And he's still got to get through the restart with Mozak and Riggs that close as well. So here they are. They already chose. So here's where you can kind of see that third row is the trucks with tires. It's the first trucks with tires. It's all going to be about this restart for Zilic in the 7, Ty Majeski in the 98. It's all going to be about the first 3 or 4 corners. Are they going to be able to keep in touch with Corey Heim, or is Corey going to get out?
Yeah, that's a tough break for Brent Cruz if he doesn't end up winning this race, which it's going to be a lot harder for him now, restarting back in 7th, but he does have fresher tires. He's 3rd of which that have the fresh tires. He has led for 56 laps today of an originally scheduled 67-lap race. Connor Zilic was the first driver off of pit road. He'll be on the outside of row number 3 in the 5th place position after the top 4 stayed out of the pits. Heim, Mosak, Riggs, and Chandler Smith were the 4 that stayed out. We headed for the restart zone. Heim will be outside of row 1. Connor Mosak looking for his first career win. He's a great road course driver. Got up into the top 5 before the caution flag came. Can he capitalize? Can Corey Heim get his 10th win of the season and tie Greg Biffle for the record for the most in a single season? Green flag in the air. Lane Riggs stumbles on the restart, does not get going. That costed Connor Zilic and Majeski's up to 4th. Into the first turn, Chandler Smith to the inside of Connor Mosak for 7th, occupying time and allowing for Corey Heim to pull away through the first couple of turns. And also boxing in the 98, allowing for Connor Zilic in the 7 to get right back to the back bumper of Ty Majeski as Majeski struggles to get by Chandler Smith and Connor Mosak. Now hit from the inside is Connor Zilic as he is underneath the 98 and trying to bully his way up there. Corey Heim getting away, and this is what he exactly needed, was the 38 and the 81 to box everybody else in. Brent Cruz into the back of the 81 of Mosak. Oh, the 38 gets turned around. Cruz is up to 2nd. The 7 had to go wide to miss Chandler Smith. Ty Majeski and Connor Mosak collected as they were trapped behind the 38 of Chandler Smith after 3 wide in contact in the hairpin. And now Cruz is the first on fresh tires, and he will be on the attack to try to catch his teammate. Giorgio somehow got up to 3rd, and all of a sudden Tricon Garage is 1, 2, and 3. I mean, the 98 and the 81 way too hot into the corner. and declaring out Chandler Smith for that second spot, and none of those three ended up in second. Majeski fell all the way back to 10th. Chandler Smith got turned around. And now at the front of the pack, white flag is in the air, and there's only one lap to go. And Corey Heim still got a pretty healthy advantage over Brett Cruz. Cruz on fresher tires, but I think Heim's a little further out there for Cruz to be able to catch. He's got a 2-second lead. Lane Riggs in the first race of the Truck Series playoffs this season went for a spin and win on a short track in Bristol today on a road course. It was Corey Heim who got in an opening lap incident. This one more of a crash than a spin. Quite a bit of damage to the 11, but not enough to take him out of it. And a win to advance him into the championship 4. Caden Honeycutt going for a spin and struggling to get back in the right direction out of turn 7. Another playoff driver having an issue late. That'll drop him out of the top 5, and he is back to at least 12th, if not worse. But anyway, back at the front, we stay green. And Corey Heim is going to hold on. He's still a second and a half ahead of Cruz. Into the front stretch chicane. Checkered flag will be waving. Corey Heim, 10th win of the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. 10 wins and 22 races. What a season for Heim. He is one away from breaking the all-time record for the most in a single season as he ties Greg Biffle, a record that has stood the test of time for 26 years. It's like he went to do a victory burnout in turn 1, slid a little too far wide. Now he's got to wait for the rest of the traffic to clear out of the way. A little too excited in the moment. Corey Heim gets the win. Had he not had that caution with 3 to go, I don't know that he would have won the race. It was going to be tough. And then on that restart, I wasn't even sure that he was going to be able to hold on to win, but because there were a couple drivers that ended up boxing in, the likes of Majeski, Zilich, and Cruz on the fresh tires for long enough, the 11 was able to get away. When Cruz got the second, gets through. Broke the record. I thought Biffle had 10. Let me look real quick. Oh, Biffle did win 9 races that season. All right, well, never mind. I apologize for that. Me get my facts wrong. That's something I should have known coming into the race. Oh, that was bad. I apologize for that. Yeah, Biffle had 9 in 1999. Yeah, I was just looking that up. I was thinking he had 10. Well, record-breaking performance for Corey Heim. It's Heim time again. 3 races left. He can legitimately win any of them. I think he's won at Martinsville. He's definitely won at Martinsville once. That's where he got his first career win. He might have even won there more than once. Championship at Phoenix has eluded him for the first 2 full-time seasons of his Truck Series competition, but maybe third time is the charm there as well. Yeah, great recovery for Josh Bilicki. Had a spin early in the final stage. Comes back to finish 6th after running about top 5 most of the day before that. 1-2-3 finish for Tricon Garage and the record-breaking performance for Corey Heim as his record-breaking season continues. If he wins the last 3 races, which I don't think is going to happen, he will end up winning more than half the races this season. Heartbreak for Cruz, who had dominated the day, led 56 of the originally scheduled 67 laps, ends up runner-up with the fresh tires late, pitting from the lead. Performances like this, Cruz will be one to look out for in the coming years. Here's your race winner, Corey Heim.
Rick, as this day is, the way you just won this 10th win tells a story just as well. We know, looking at this truck, that this isn't easy. How do you make it appear so?
No, it was not easy today. I think this is probably the toughest one of the year so far. So just shows the resilience of this Tricon team. They fixed it up so good for me after that incident on the first lap, just kind of out of our control. And I thought we were done. Honestly, the right front completely folded when I hit the wall over there. So kind of out of breath just from screaming after that one. That was awesome. But man, just shows resilience. Record-breaking 10 wins. That's just a phenomenal accomplishment. I couldn't do it without these guys. So pit crew, Tricon, everyone back at the shop, Toyota, Mobile One, and Safe Flight. Just an awesome day.
You are now the bar. Your record is the one that future drivers and generations will chase. But for today, when you look at that truck, as we said in the broadcast, you cannot judge a book by the cover. What story does this one tell?
Yeah, I mean, we were certainly not quite as good as we were, in practice and qualifying after that damage. My steering wheel was like 45 degrees to the left, and we came down pit road like 6 times trying to get it back to at least somewhat what it was. Oh, yeah. This guy right here makes it all happen too, man. This group with Scott and the 11 crew, just couldn't ask for much more. We got it close. Like I said, just wasn't quite as good as we were in practice, but made us fight for it for sure.
10 wins for Corey Heim, and we still have 3 to go, Jamie.
And he still hasn't won the championship.
He's led 55 laps today. I know you're disappointed, but what are the positives you can take away from the performance of you and your team today?
Yeah, a lot today. I just want to thank the good Lord above for keeping me safe. This has been a really fun week working with Trevor and Blake at home, working on my craft, and getting better and better each day. We had a super fast #1 JBL Tundra today, and it's grateful to be able to keep running races and learning more and more and more. We had a super fast truck, as you guys got to see out there leading the race today. I had a blast. Just really happy for Tricon being able to go 1-2 there. Congrats to the whole 11 team. They did a great job all day as well, and was happy to see them get back up there, but definitely didn't want to see them stay out there. So definitely sucks, but learned a lot today, and grateful for all the fans that are here today, and glad we had a shot at it.
Well done. A very positive attitude here from Brent Cruz. Jamie?
Thank you, Caitlin. Yes, Tricon Garage, their first ever 1, 2, 3. They came to play today. Gio Ruggiero, of course.
Yeah, they all qualified inside the top 5 as well, and then they get the 1, 2, 3 finish on top of it. So just a great run all the way around. 2 rookies and a guy who's been in the sport for 3 seasons now at the Truck Series level full time, still looking for his first championship. But Corey Heim gets the race win, 10th of the season, breaking Greg Biffle's record from 1999. 26 years. Maybe could have looked at that as one of the records that may never be broken in an era where NASCAR seems to be so competitive from top to bottom of the field. But in the Truck Series, it's been all Corey Heim this year. We'll see if he's going to be able to go for yet another one in these final 3 races, maybe even more than one. Margin of victory was 1.3 seconds for Heim over his teammate Brent Cruz for the day. Gio Ruggiero ends up 3rd, Raja Cruz 4th, and Connor Zilich rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Josh Balicki in 6th, coming back from a spin. Grant Enfinger, after that opening lap incident, didn't score any stage points today, but finishes 7th. Ty Majeski 8th, Tyler Ankrum 9th, and Connor Mosak rounds out the top 10. Daniel Hemrick in 11th, Bailey Curry 12th, Dawson Sutton 13th, Caden Honeycutt 14th, and Will Rogers 15th did finish the race. 16th, Timmy Hill. 17th, Matt Mills. Corey LaJoy 18th, Chandler Smith 19th, and 20th was Spencer Boyd. Lane Riggs fell back to 21st on that last restart after he had gone for a spin of his tires on the restart. I'm not sure what happened there, but he was in 4th, finished 21st. More on that in a second. Jack Wood 22nd, Jake Garcia 23rd, also had a spin on that final restart. 2nd of as many today. And we had 23 trucks finish on the lead lap. Matt Crafton 24th, Ben Mayer 25th, Chris Wright 26th, Wesley Slimp 27th, Mason Maggio 28th, Tyler Tomasi 29th, Tony Breidinger 30th, Tanner Gray 31st, Andres Perez 32nd, Josh Reum 33rd, Carter Fadich 34th, Parker Kligerman 35th, and Ben Rhodes 36th. And 7 DNFs total today. 8 lead changes, 4 cautions. 2 for incident, 2 stage breaks, 2 hours, 7 minutes, 12 seconds total time of the race, 12 caution laps, We did go past the scheduled distance by 3 laps, 70 out of the original scheduled 250 miles and 67 laps. So again, finished with 70 of them. Point standings I have sitting behind me. I'm not going to be able to show you visually what it looks like, but it couldn't be any more tight. Only 6 points separate 2nd through 8th in the standings going into Talladega in 2 weeks. Again, next week the Truck Series will be off at Las Vegas, so second race of the round at Dega 2 weeks from now. That is unbelievable. +2 above the cut line for Tyler Ankrum and Daniel Hemrick. +1 for Raja Caruth. -1 for Lane Riggs, -2 for Ty Majeski, -4 for Grant Enfinger and Caden Honeycutt. 6 points separating 7 spots. That's pretty wild after this race today, because the guys that were above the cut line just didn't have a good day. Lane Riggs gave up all 22 points in one race, and now he's 1 point back. A lot of stage points for the likes of Ankrum, Hemrick, and Caruth. Caruth came in below the cut line. Now he's above. Honeycutt won the first 2 stages today and still ended up -4. Now, had he not had a spin on that final lap, he was in the top 5 and then ended up finishing 14th. He probably lost almost 10 points there, which could be vital. We'll see how it works out for him and everybody else into the final 2 races at Dega and Martinsville in the coming weeks. We'll be live for 2 more days of live commentary coverage from the Charlotte Roval on the channel. And a doubleheader tomorrow, as we will have our next live stream being Cup Series practice and qualifying, which will be at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live for the NASCAR Xfinity race at 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow as well. And NASCAR Cup Series race coverage begins at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Thanks so much for watching. Congrats to Corey Hyde for getting his 10th win of the season. And I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon for a doubleheader on the channel. Have a good rest of your Friday night, everyone.